Welcome in. How are we doing tonight in the Action Lab? I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. Guys, we have a big show for you tonight. You are with Chris and Scott, your hosts for tonight. Your hosts for Action Lab, the only hosts for Action Lab.
I was going to say, pretty much every night. I mean, sometimes I bail on you. That's true.
Yeah, sometimes you bail on me. It's fine. I get it. But we are your premier spot for talking sports and entertainment across the board. It's like talking sports, talking entertainment with your friends inside your living room, except the difference is everyone is all over the world, right? Yeah.
That's it.
That's it is.
That's the one. That's the punchline.
That's the punchline.
I want someone to deliver that in the chat prior to you saying it one time.
Seriously. I'm sure we'll have enough people in here that'll know it well enough. Eventually. Yeah. So
I'm not even sure I could say it back, but I know when I hear it.
That's right. We have a big show tonight, Scotty. We are I don't even know how we're going to fit it all in tonight. This might be our best show we've ever done.
I mean, we haven't said that in a while.
No. I
mean, it's preseason football, but guys, we got a legit show tonight. I'm excited for it.
You know why else we have a legit show for tonight, Scotty? Is because it is Scotty's birthday today. Happy birthday, Scotty.
Thought we could avoid that.
No. I was going to actually put together some graphics, and I was like, no, I'll just leave it alone. We'll just keep it simple. Hold on to your butts. That's right. It is Scotty's birthday. Let's celebrate. Hey, it's been a while. We didn't really celebrate much last year, but you know what? We can, get everybody involved this year. Scotty, how does it? I mean, you don't have to tell anybody what your actual age is if you don't want to. It's your birthday, but happy birthday, man!
Thanks. I maybe this is just me. Oh, Valor, Thank you so much. Gifting out 5 subs. Thank you so much, Valor. Chris, I don't know. Birthdays for me personally are weird. Like, I don't know why. Like, it's not like I did anything. It's not like I accomplished. I mean, no, this stream is going to be growing more and more. So maybe that's something to look at as a positive. But like, ultimately, it's just, to me, it's kind of like another day. And yeah, my age changed by 1. But celebrating, I get why, like, there's reasons. You need reasons to celebrate people, and I'd much rather celebrate other people than me being celebrated. So I'm not big on it, but yeah, it was a nice day. Got some. I think I had to go into work for a bit because the Rockies were in town. So I think they sang like "Happy Birthday" like 4 times at work to me, which was like plenty for sure. And then my kids replayed on Alexa the Happy Birthday song 37 times over tonight. So it was lovely. We don't have to sing it on stream unless you'd like to do that, Chris.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh boy.
Should we go the Marilyn Monroe style? I'm sure people would love it.
Ooh.
Should we do it? No.
Andy, can we play a game called Guess His Age? You can't, Andy, because you probably know. But anybody that doesn't know, I think I've said it or roughly said it in this stream before. Yeah, I've had 2 references already, I think, from Chairman and Football Wife. Yeah, guys, it's coming in nice. Don't worry, the beard.
Yep.
It's a slow grind here, people. It's a slow grind, but I have not shaved since Wednesday. Even today, I was like, oh no, this should be further along. What is going on here?
Well, subs got us there, and we had some subs coming in. Valor, thank you so much for the gifted subs to C. Semper, Athletic, to Klept, Rubber Duck, and J Cross. See, there you go, Ducky. You pop in. Ducky said it's been a while. He hasn't made the last couple streams.
You guys just wait. This beer is gonna be electric eventually. We got 2+ months ahead of us. Don't panic, guys. Now's not the time to panic.
You're gonna be living your best life, a little older and a little bit thicker around the beard. It's cool. It's cool.
And we'll see if I have as much gray in the beard as you, Chris. It'll be interesting to find out.
Man, we could only hope. I mean, the gray is nice. The gray is nice.
Yeah, sophisticated, real classy look.
But everyone,
like if Andy was to grow one, he'd have a lot of. Well, and he does grow them from time to time. I don't know. I assume you have one right now, right, Andy?
I'm sure. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, everyone's throwing in their birthday wishes. Football Wife, Ducky, Chairman, Andrew, Milwaukee, everybody. G Girl, what's up? Hey, we got to give some shout outs to everybody here. We always like to give shout outs at the beginning of the show. G Girl is fantastic. She's always bringing it each and every single time. Just make sure you check out her sports content and her NFL content coming up. It is going to be great. Go give her a follow if you have not already. Also, we have Chairman of the Board. Chairman's also doing some fun things on the platform as well. We have Andy still doing a little thing?
He's starting off with Mackie, who is a regular in our chat. Him and Mackie, I believe, every other Saturday, which would mean you didn't miss it yesterday because it will be next Saturday. It's in the morning, right, Andy? Like, I remember actually that first Saturday because I didn't know you were doing it. And Mackie went live, and I'm like, he's live. Like, it was early. I was unprepared. I was like, oh. Early morning stream, so you guys can check that out before you do all your Saturday activities. Your errands, your Bed Bath and Beyond, your Home Depot, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll have time. I mean,
that's you got to get the stream in. So those other things come secondary for sure.
And Valor, and all the boys at the Sports Disaster. Hey, go give some love. Hey, Valor, post your link because I don't know if it works with the shout outs the right way. So Valor, go post the link, or Ducky, post the link because you guys have a sweet show going on YouTube. Make sure you go check out their show on YouTube. They are fantastic.
Monkey kills it, guys, and so does Valor. They all kill it out there. So he just spelled monkey wrong in his name, but he's monkey, not duck.
So yes, we will make sure you guys get all go support each other. It means a lot. It means the world to us that you guys are supporting fellow streamers in this space. Football Wife, Scotty, are you 29 again?
No, because that's too obvious. People will be like, oh, so he's clearly not. So that's why I like to go with like a nice, cool, like 27. And then I get people laughing at me when I say that. So I don't know what that means because I'm like, I can pull off 27, right? And apparently not. The answer I get a lot is no.
Valor posted that YouTube link. Go check out Valor, and that's Valor, Reckoning, Ducky, and Health. Those guys are all part of our normal. They're all of our lab rats. They're all family here. So make sure you go click that. They do the like a show all together. So go do that. Chris, how did you get current David Letterman to co-host? Wait. Is Scotty the old guy behind the huge beard?
I know, guys. It's tricky, but it's still me. I'm the same person. Nobody panic here. It's still me behind this beard. All right. Don't worry. Milwaukee's best was his B-Day gift the number one pick in fantasy. Nay. So everyone here, if you expressed interest in the fantasy football leagues, and we are full, unfortunately. So if you haven't, it's too late. Should have got a invite in Discord chat today to join. I think 9 of the 12 in both leagues are joined already, so that's awesome. But at the end of the show, I believe tonight, Chris, we're gonna spin the Wheel of Destiny. I don't know. I just felt like that felt right, and I don't want to do it again. It felt wrong. It felt so wrong when I said it like that. But
it felt like that needed ominous music to go with it or something.
Well, and even my deep voice isn't that deep, Chris. I'm waiting on puberty. That's why I'm 27 still. It's a late puberty. But we're gonna spin the wheel to live tonight for both leagues. To figure out the draft order for the fantasy football draft. So you guys will know by the end of the night if you stick with us, and then I'll slot that in the leagues. I know that it lets you pick your own spot, but don't think that's the spot you're picking at. It's not that easy.
Yeah. We're going to do that. And then if you guys can't hang around till the end, don't worry. You'll see it in the league updates, and you'll also see it, if you want to go check out, by the way, that's a good plug for checking out our VODs on YouTube and checking out anything on the podcast platform. If you happen to miss any portion of the show, you can always check us out on all the other platforms that we're on. From a podcast standpoint, we're on Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Apple, you name it. We're on all of them. Then go over to YouTube. We have all of our clips. We upload the shows either a day or two after the previous show. So you could go make sure you check out all the fun segments that we went through. You can click through, fast forward, whatever you want. So you can kind of get that going as well. Also, hit us up on all of our socials. Let me put all our socials in the chat. And then there's one more thing that you guys need to be a part of. What's up, Orioles? How we doing? We want you to be a part of our Pick'em and our Survivor contest. Now, just because you didn't get in potentially on the, some of you guys did get in the fantasy league, some of you guys didn't, but we're gonna grow it as this gets bigger, as we get more demand. We might have 3 or 4 fantasy leagues. Who knows? I don't know how we're gonna expand this more and more each year, but there's one thing that there's not a limit on, and that is our Survivor and our Pick'em league. So, ! Contest. I'll put it in the chat for you to get you started. There's the link to Pick'em and there's the link to Survivor. So make sure you go in. Password for both contests is LabRats with a capital L in the beginning, all one word. So there you go. Make sure you join in. We have a really good turnout so far. The more people we get joining in, the more prizes we're going to give away, Scotty.
Yeah. We had Football Wife trying to join like 35 times, which was great.
She's trying to boost up those prizes right there.
If I enter 35 times, I can just choose different teams every week and I'm going to be fine. I think that was Football Wife's strategy, but anyway, guys, sorry. No, it's all good. It's all good. By the way, as far as which league you're in, and if anyone's like, why am I in one league over the other in fantasy? I promise there was no thought put into it. It was mostly if you said only one date worked, I slotted you there, and otherwise I just kind of ran. It was totally random. Yeah. Didn't really think about it. So some of you are on this Thursday, some of you are Monday. I mean, really, because Chris and I, so based off the numbers we got interest-wise, Chris and I are going to be in both leagues.
Correct. That is a new twist.
Before we thought each of us would be in one, but we had a couple people back out and didn't find anyone else. So the numbers just worked out where Chris and I are going to be participating in both leagues. So in both leagues, you get to play against both your Action Lab hosts here at least. And then I missed who said it, but someone asked, are we going to have a Super Bowl between the two leagues at the end of the year? I mean, it might make sense, Chris. It might make sense
that
outside of, again, I stress that that feels like I'm going to be playing myself.
Don't even start on that. G Girl in the chat. Sounds like Football Wife and G-Girl have been drafting the past month straight. And I know G-Girl is doing all the mock drafts on her channel. She's doing all of them. More practice than I'm getting. I kind of...
She got me into. I went in on G Girl's stream and got on one of her drafts because she was like, "I want to see how Scotty drafts." So I messed around. You can analyze that all you want. I don't know if those picks I liked. Maybe that I didn't like them, G Girl. Maybe I hated them. Maybe I'm throwing you off. Maybe that's exactly who I'm going to pick. Nobody knows.
It's true. It's all smoke and mirrors. You know, you can't give out all of your strategies. What's up, Cloud? How we doing? Devil Doc, good evening. So many drafts. There's too many. There's so many going on. And it's that time of the year. We're excited. Football is getting closer and closer. We'll get to the countdown here in a minute. But Broncos, did Scott say he will be playing with himself? What the hell?
For the Super Bowl, yeah. Just me versus me for the Super Bowl. That's how we're going to roll.
So there you have it. That's kind of all the stuff about fantasy and all our contests that we have going on. Again, I will be putting the contest, ! Contest, in the chat. And then you will be able to join in on our survivors and all of our pick'em leagues. So join in now. It's free to enter, and you win some cool stuff. There you go. There you go, Double Doc. Thank you so much. And we're celebrating all stream long Scotty's birthday. We're just gonna keep throwing that out there, Scotty, because I know how much you love celebrating your birthday.
I would prefer you stop mentioning that.
Every time someone new comes in the chat, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, it's Scotty's birthday.
Yeah. Unless it's followed by 5 gifted subs, and then you can keep mentioning it,
I'll
Chris.
drink to that. By the way, yeah. Speaking of subs, that's how you can support the channel each and every single week. If you want to subscribe to the channel, there's a way you can do that. You could also link your Amazon and your Twitch, and you can have a free subscription to any channel you want once a month. So make sure you go do that! Prime in the chat, so that you can join in and be a part of our Action Lab Rat family. Get all the emotes and all the fun things that we have going on with our community. Also, make sure you join in our Discord server. That's also a way to support the channel because we get to have you guys talking outside of the stream. So that's always a fun way. If you want your message read aloud. Wait.
Good timing.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scotty. Happy birthday to you.
Hey,
thank you for the biddies,
go.
Football Wife. Is it weird, Chris, that I enjoyed that rendition of Happy Birthday more than yours? Are you okay with that?
Birthday.
No, that wasn't an invitation to do it again. That was not an invite.
Mr. Scotty, happy birthday to you.
Yikes.
Yeah, see, we should just turn this into a singing show.
You know what I was told to me after the fact, Chris, and no one mentioned it. And now I'm starting to think like I had the single worst performance of all time because I will never go back and watch it. But was I delayed the whole time?
It was a little delayed, yeah. It was kind of.
My timing was perfect with how I heard the song.
It was
someone
a little
told
bit.
Me I was delayed the whole time.
It was a little bit of a delay. It was a little
All
bit.
right, well, what can you do?
That song is technically copyrighted.
Well, so was when we got Andy when we did a little Billie Jean.
Yeah.
So I think they're coming after us a little more than Happy Birthday.
So I was just mentioning how you can have your message read aloud and Football Wife threw out some bits. Thank you so much for the support. That's another way you can support the channel. You could hear your messages live here on for everybody to listen to. So go ahead, do that as well. Also, hit that follow button. We love to see that Shaq Shimmy. We're trying to grow this community. Go out. If you could do, like, the biggest thing you could do is go out and get some friends who love talking sports and get them in here so we can build more of that. We want more people to come in, especially at the start of the NFL season. We're getting closer and closer. The bigger we are, the more fun we can have with all of you guys. So the more the merrier. Let's have some fun with it. And then just join us in the chat. That's the biggest thing. Just be here, hang out, share your opinions, share what your thoughts are on all these different topics, all these different things that we have for you. And we would love to see what you guys come up with, because you guys make this what it is, realistically. So, Packers by far. By the way, Milwaukee, we still have that Packers bet. I love that Packers bet.
Packers by far #1 defense. You're going to want to tune in here, Milwaukee. You might be You might be pleased. We're going to get into top 10 defenses if we haven't mentioned. I think we already mentioned it, but later here, that's going to be a big segment we're rolling with tonight after we did top 10 offenses. So if you missed last stream, hit the VOD up or hit up one of our podcasts to hear the top 10 offenses. Spoiler, the number one offense in the league is your Kansas City Chiefs. Don't worry about it. Not a homer pick at all. And what else do we got here? Devil Dog talking about, apparently Football Wife really likes to take a kicker. 11th round seems late. I would try maybe like 6th, 7th round if you really want your guy. And I assume Football Wife as a Bengals fan is all over Justin Tucker. Just picking Tucker every time.
Oh, Tucker. He's the best in the league and
really good, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Really good.
100%. Sixth round. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Scotty and I, we can't tell you how to draft, but just saying. All right, so we're gonna get into that. If you
want your guy, get your guy. Don't wait and then regret it later. Yep.
So we will be picking those orders later on, so you guys can start strategizing. Anyone who's in the league. Other than that, we are ready to roll, Scotty. We've had all our PSAs. We know it's your birthday, so people are gonna be like loving the fact that they can say happy birthday to you all night long. So there's that. And then we have a juicy story to kick off this show that I think is kind of crazy. So
it was a crazy week for a guy that wasn't even participating in the NFL.
it's crazy. Let's go ahead. By the way, let me update our sub goal count. We are at 95. We are 5 away from 100, guys. Let's see if we can get there.
Let's get to 100 for my birthday, guys.
100 for his birthday. Let's go. There's nothing. You hit the century mark for your birthday. There's nothing better than that. I don't usually
like to beg and get the sympathy ones, but tonight I'm going to pull that card.
See, he doesn't want to talk about his birthday, but this will. For
subs, I'll talk about the birthday.
There you go. All right, so we have this 17 days, 18 hours, 21 minutes, and 29 seconds. That's all we got left.
Hey, and there we are. Andy, thank you so much, buddy.
Wow.
You are the best.
There it is. We hit the goal. Let's
hit
go.
The 100. We hit the 100, which means we definitely won't get to 101. That's it. We did it.
Andrew, thank you for all the subs. Appreciate that. Gifting out subs to everyone in the community, including Daniel, 2000 Fire, T-Frog, Rockna Shrebaba, and Nohag.
I think you got that right.
And Noah. And Noah. There we go.
It can't possibly be Rockin' Aaron Show.
No,
it can't possibly
there's no
be
way.
that,
There's no way. Letters strung together just make my brain hurt.
Yeah.
Brady, Tom Brady. Actually, Diacola. Before we get into Tom Brady, Diacola watched the Manti Te'o doc. Broke my heart. Oof.
Yeah. I touched that. That was my coming in hot, which was a little more cool, but like more somber probably than normal. But yeah, I had no idea, honestly. Like everyone made fun of Manti Te'o at the time, and now obviously you kind of, if you've watched the doc, check it out. Like he seems like an incredible guy, and the fact that he genuinely seemed to forgive this girl that doesn't, girl now, transgender female now, whatever you want. I'm not gonna get into that, but anyway, that honestly came off with not having a lot of remorse in it.
Andy,
in my opinion,
I made fun of him a lot, hardcore, and probably need to check that out. Yeah, you do.
Check it out, Andy.
It's been trending.
Andy loves to cry. A good cry. You'd probably cry, Chris. Andy.
It's been trending all weekend, and everyone's like, "Hey, I apologize for everything that I did with mocking Manti Te'o." Like everybody was like on Twitter, "Hey, I'm sorry, Manti. I'm sorry." And yeah, she had no remorse. Gosh, we could get into that whole thing later. It's crazy. But so there was a UFC fight night. Now you're wondering, why does that matter when it comes to this Brady Gronk thing, right? So it came out that there was some things that happened back in the day that lent themselves to some piecing some various clips that we'd always kind of wondered what they really were, and now it all kind of comes full circle. I'm just going to play these clips. Scotty, you should be able to hear these as well.
And fun.
And we're gonna make sure that you guys get caught up on this, which there was a really good chance that Brady and Gronk could be united in the Las Vegas Raiders organization. Well, didn't quite happen, but let's dive into a little bit of a film session here, and let's talk about this, because we'll play the clip first. And this is from the fight night. By the way, Usman upset by Leon Edwards, in case you guys were wondering about that. That was a crazy... I like going back and seeing the knockouts. Did you see the knockout, Scotty, on socials?
I did not.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
It was good. But let's go ahead. We'll play this clip here, and I want you guys to kind of let us know your thoughts as we're going through this. But give me 1 second. Let me pull this up here.
I also got another question for you, man. I know when Tom was a free agent about like
you can hear this, Scotty?
What was it, 2-3 years ago
can't.
before he went to Tampa, you gave him a recruiting pitch on why he should join the Vegas Raiders. What went wrong with that recruiting pitch that you gave him?
Do I really tell this story right now, God? Do you want me to tell this story?
Yes.
You can give a brief story. You don't got to go too much in details because you never know. I could have been in Vegas with you for the last 3 years, man. What the heck?
No,
It's still there. You would have signed it.
been. You would have been. So
I would have been.
I'm the one. I worked to put that deal together for Brady and Gronk to come to the Raiders, and it was almost a done deal. And at the last minute, Gruden blew the deal up and said that he didn't want him. And all hell broke loose, man. It was crazy. And Brady was already looking at houses, and it wasn't being said yet that Gronk was coming. So Las Vegas would have had Brady and Gronk the year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, except Gruden blew the deal up. And there's so much story that goes along with this behind the scenes. And I was never going to tell that story till Gronk just said it, but yeah.
And Dana,
Let me tell
that
you
is
what,
exactly
Brady was
what
not
happened,
happy.
and you just told the story.
That's already done.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Wow.
So there you go. So you have that clip right there. All right. So at that point, you're just like, wow. Like, John Gruden had the option to have Brady and Gronk come. Like, sometimes you wonder whether or not you look back on Gruden and like kind of all that he was such a, when he was in the booth, he was one of the most coveted coaches out there. He was like, oh, where is he going to go? He want and then you see the disaster and the train wreck that happened when he was back in the mix on a coaching level, making plays, all these different things happening with, he traded Khalil Mack away, or he had all of these questionable kind of moves. But this coming out, and you could tell Dana didn't want to get into this. You could tell Dana was like, oh, should I be talking about this right now? Because honestly, it's like, this is kind of not supposed to be out there. But real quick, Scotty, before we go into this, there was one other clip that I wanted to reference, because then we started going and tracing back some steps. We started doing some deductions of like maybe some other things that we heard, one of which was from the shop. This was trending as well. And this clip was, so this UFC was last night, obviously. Correct.
This clip from the shop was
months.
Was it this past off season? Past off season, or the one before? I can't remember, but it was a while ago. It wasn't like yesterday or anything like that.
No. So here is the clip from a while back. This was a long time ago.
A few months ago. You're right. It was this year. Because a lot of people speculated different teams.
And they were, and all of a sudden Miami came into the mix, and they were like Miami, because like the whole situation with the yacht thing. But then you hear this.
There was a story in free agency. One of the teams, they were interested, and all of a sudden they weren't interested at the very end. I was sitting there thinking, You're sticking with that motherfucker? Are you serious?
Tom probably had no desire to go to that team, but now it's like, why don't you want me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I look back, I'm like, I just don't fucking way I would have went to that team. But they said they didn't want me, and I know what that means. I know what that feels like, and I'm gonna fuck you up because of that.
There you go. So there's that. So then everyone's speculating, okay, now we're going back into this. And he was talking about the Raiders and Derek Carr that whole time when he was talking about that particular moment in the interview on the shop, saying, hey, you're sticking with that guy? Well, here you are. They stuck with that guy. And here we're looking at this from retrospect in a whole different light.
This whole story is idiotic to me, Chris.
But if I would have heard
there
in
is
the barbershop thing with the
we're going again
hold
for
on.
the season.
Hold on, wait.
We're going.
I got to go back to that. Hold on.
I would have.
There's weird wonky things here. There's our guy.
What's up?
I had no idea that
you
there
hear
was
what
a
Pat
team
has
that
to
was
say?
interested in Tom Brady until.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So listen. This doesn't make any sense at all. I think all of this could be true. I think Dana White could have felt like it was close with Las Vegas. I think John Gruden could have been like, no. And I think Tom Brady could have been talking about the Raiders when discussing that HBO clip. Tom Brady was... Why in the hell would Tom Brady let Dana White negotiate a deal for him?
Super
that
weird.
wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. But was he going to hurt Dana White's feelings? No, there was no way Tom Brady was coming to the Raiders. There was zero chance. Whether Gruden wanted him or not, Tom Brady was not going to be a Las Vegas Raider. I don't know if you've seen their defense recently, but Tom Brady only plays with good defenses by rule, Chris. Yeah. And guess what Las Vegas hasn't had? A good defense in forever. In forever. So there's no chance he was actually considering. He probably wasn't wanting to hurt Dana White's feelings. He's like keeping all his options open. Like at this point, we've heard that Tom Brady was close to signing with half the league a couple years ago when he ended up with Tampa Bay. Like it seems like every team's been in the mix. Miami with ownership, all these other teams that were in the mix. Like it's just exhausting. I think Gronk just played along with it. He's like, yeah, I'm on your show. Like, yeah, we could have been in Las Vegas. Hell no. Hell no, they would have been in Las Vegas. He was not coming to Vegas, even if Gruden wanted him. All of the things could be true outside of, in Tom Brady's head, I guarantee he was never signing in Las Vegas. He might have led Dana White to believe that was a real option, but it was not an option. There's no way it was an option. Tom Brady's too smart for that shit. He would not have fallen for that. And it's just bizarre to me that why is Dana White involved in an NFL negotiation at all? Props to him for what he's done and what he's built with the UFC. All credit there, but he's not involved with the NFL. Stop it, Dana.
I mean, what? He's pretty much a Las Vegas guru when it comes to putting on pay-per-views and knowing all that. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know. Maybe like they're like, oh, you know, if there's a guy that's an authority when it comes to big time events here in Las Vegas, it's Dana White. He's built a massive, just UFC is huge, and he owns most of Las Vegas events when it comes to, I mean, boxing isn't around as much as it used to be. So UFC is where it's at, and he's maybe that influencer that maybe tried to who knows? Maybe the Raiders were the ownership was trying to maybe lure him in, but then that goes against what like the whole Gruden wanting him or like. But what Brady said in that shop interview was, we had something on, and then it changed last minute. So it was like there. It was gonna happen. It sounded
no. He said they were interested, and then at the last minute they weren't.
But then
that's what he said. But not that it was gonna go down, just that there was a team interested at the very end that all of a sudden wasn't.
But then someone's lying when they're saying he's house shopping in Las Vegas. You know,
he probably house shopped everywhere. In fact, even if he bought a home in each place, he probably he could have done it. Could have just bought a home at all the places that were interested in him, Chris. He would have done just fine.
So
I don't know. I'm just not buying that story. There's a couple more Brady things we're going to get into as he's not even been in camp, although it sounds like he's going to be back in the next couple days finally, that I find even more fascinating and insane, but funny.
Well, I mean, let's dive into it. Let's dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also, he's taking some time away from the team. And people are like, well, what does that mean? What is that looking like? What is he doing? What is very secretive about what's going on with that? So then there's rumors that he's like, trying to, get things situated in his home life. And there's rumors out there that Giselle was not happy about him unretiring and coming back to the league. So there's like the whole marriage thing, and they're trying to figure that out. Scotty, there's a couple other twists in this one. Like, what else are you hearing on this?
I mean, the main one, a lot of you probably heard it. The main rumor that came out of on the Reddit dark webs, was that the reason Tom Brady has been away from the team is because he is on this year's season of The Masked Singer. Chris, or is it Masked Singer?
G Girl threw that in the chat. Yeah.
And so I don't know if you guys have seen the actual Reddit stream where this person breaks it down, admits fully there's wild speculation, but there are paragraphs upon paragraphs of why the timing makes sense, the fact that he retired and it's a Fox show and other athletes have done it, so he already maybe signed on when he retired, and the timing of different airings of the tapings, and it fits within the timing of where he could have gone to film for it. They break it. It is, Chris, you love yourself a conspiracy theory, and so I'll send you this link when I get a chance, but it lined up perfectly and it made a lot of sense. I mean, I knew it was bullshit from the start because Tom Brady, his retirement was never real. It was never a real retirement. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to play his cards to get out of Tampa. It didn't work. He's back in Tampa. I've talked about this before. So there's no way he's signing on to the Masked Dancer in that week that he was retired. Maybe he'll do it down the road, but it wasn't happening this year. But the Reddit stream is hilarious. The comments, and everyone's like, I just want to be a part of the comments because if this becomes true, this is the single greatest detective thing I've ever witnessed in my life. So maybe, I mean, I've heard people ruling it out, but maybe they have to rule it out, Chris, because they can't talk about the fact that he's on The Masked Singer. That would ruin. I've never watched The Masked Singer, but I feel like if you knew who one of the singers was,
kind of messes with it.
That's the whole purpose of the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Now, by the way, Reddit is undefeated almost. Literally, you can throw any, it's fast. There are people that have crimes and mysteries that have taken place, cold cases.
Yeah.
That someone throws in this cold case and the Reddit community dives in and goes after it, and they solve the case faster than the damn police do. The detective, FBI has been trying to solve these cases for years. You got Reddit coming in, looking up all the crazy shit, all the videos, the documents, there's dark web puzzles that people get really in. Reddit figures that out. It's crazy.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think Tom Brady, it was rumored he was going to come back a long time ago. They said after this second preseason game. So the timeline fits with that as far as him coming back this week, which it sounds like he is in the next couple days. But at the same time, he's like, I got to get my ass back. I'm either getting my ass back or retiring because these rumors are out of control.
Oh, people, we already know what rumors did to Manti Te'o all of a sudden.
But I still think it's super weird. I understand Tom Brady's the most successful quarterback as far as, accomplishments in the league, as far as championships, obviously, Super Bowls. So he's maybe gained that right, but I don't know. When you have a new head coach, as they do with Todd Bowles in Tampa, and you have Tom Brady leaving, who's in charge there? Who's in charge of that offense? Should the players? What if Tom Brady and Todd Bowles disagree? Who are the players supposed to believe, like, trust or follow or believe in? Like, do you follow your coach, or do you follow your 87-year-old quarterback that may be gone next year, and then you have to deal with that coach that knows you didn't follow what he had to say? Because I get it. I'm like, I'm gonna follow Tom. Like, he's the GOAT. But at the same time, Tom could be gone next year. Tom retires like it's his job now.
He retires yearly.
He tries to move to other teams. I mean, he plays the field. You know, I hope he's faithful in marriage, because he is not faithful to his football team, Chris. He is working side deals. He did it before he left New England. He does it now. He's always trying to wheel and deal and get out of the situation he's in because he's not happy.
Oh, absolutely. Milwaukee best NIL deal for Brady. He's also, we were talking about why he was gone. He's like, I heard it had to do with the Dolphins. Don't worry. It's a trap. It's a trap. I believe they just filmed a new season and he had a deal with Fox. Yeah.
I mean, he has a deal with Fox, standing deal to be a part of their broadcast team once he retires.
Correct.
All that's true, but he's not on Masked Singer, guys.
Everyone's going to be guessing on every single Masked Singer contestant, or like they're going to guess him every single time.
Fox right now must be thrilled. They're like, we're going to get so much more viewership because people think Tom Brady's on this.
Oh, seriously? Like,
yeah, they're like,
can you imagine when he's not and they get all those ratings? It's like
they don't care. They don't care at that point.
By the way, I haven't seen one of those like Masked Singer or like game shows in so long.
I'm confused. I've never watched Masked Singer. I'm confused at the appeal of it. Is it just like you become a detective and try and sleuth who it is? Like, what C-list celebrity might this be?
Pretty much. I mean,
it's like Dancing with the Stars. I also think I've never been on board with any of those C-list celebrity shows where people are just grasping at whatever they can to salvage their career, and they go on a dancing or singing show or whatever. No, thank you. I have no offense, just not. I won't say I have more important things to do. I get why it appeals to a lot of people, just not for me.
That's why I stick to all the cooking shows, man. All the Gordon Ramsay cooking shows. It's.
You just love a fiery chef.
I might just learn something potentially while watching, and it's entertaining. So there's that. What else do we have here? Everyone has been trying to figure out what he could have had to do. Didn't have a definite end date. Masked Singer would be that. Suspended but not suspended. What else do we have? Wait till they lose the first game and someone blames the Masked Singer, says Andy. Yep. Yeah.
They probably will.
Yeah,
they probably will, because at that point, I mean, the season won't be over, so they'll be like, "Thanks a lot, Masked Singer. You ruined Tom Brady for us."
G Girl in the chat, do you think he's really unhappy in Tampa Bay? So much talent there. I think there was, when there's smoke, there's fire, and there was smoke when there was Bruce Arians stuff was happening.
I mean, there's Bruce Arians stepping away was not a coincidence.
That it happened very. I mean, we hit the conspiracy music again. I mean, it was ominous the way Bruce was ready to go. All ready for the season. All of a sudden, he's like, actually, no, I'm going to go into the front office and we'll, do things from there. The same time that Brady was like, oh yeah, I'm coming back. Well, it's because he didn't. There was some philosophical issues going on behind the scenes between what Brady wanted to do versus what Bruce Arians was looking to do.
100%. 100%. Do I think Brady thinks this team's talented enough? Yeah. I don't think the talent was the issue. It was the mix with Bruce Arians, and he didn't want to deal with that. And like, if he can get partial ownership stake in another team, as clearly was discussed and rumored with Miami, why wouldn't he jump in on that? But no, I don't think he was unhappy with the roster. I don't think the roster was the issue in Tampa. I think it was him and Bruce, and I think Todd Bowles is probably just going to stay the hell out of the way of the offense.
Yeah.
Like, I think Tom Brady is quasi head coach. Like, he's the offensive coordinator. I know.
It's how it was with Peyton back in Denver. I mean,
Leftwich is still there, right? As their OC.
I mean, he was getting a lot of.
He didn't get a head coaching job, so he must still be there.
No, yeah.
So Leftwich and Brady are going to do all the offensive stuff. Todd Bowles won't touch that, and he'll just focus on team management and defense, and that might work. I actually like Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles is a hell of a coach. I think he's a much better coach than Bruce Arians, frankly. So I think it's an upgrade, in my opinion. But the only thing I'll say about Tampa's roster is it's aging. They haven't, there's not a huge inflection of youth going on there, where they're just getting a little older and a little older every year.
Well, and they're coming. Some of the older guys are coming off injuries. We got younger guys coming off injuries. You got all sorts of things. Godwin's coming back. Fournette was injury prone last year. He's an older guy. There's just a lot of pieces that they're relying on heavily that may not necessarily come back every year the way that you think they might. So let's see what else. Brady's masquerading as Brett Favre. Will I retire or won't? Depending on if I get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But can't you schedule a vacation? What else?
In the summer, you can, unless you just want to play your cards to be like, listen, the reason I was retiring, fake retirement again, was to spend more time with family. So I just want more time off. Because at the end of the day, Tom Brady probably doesn't, he worries about where they're at in week 15, 16, 17, 18, not where they're at week 1. This might affect a win or a loss in the early stages because the timing's a little off. But ultimately, he cares about winning Super Bowls, and this team is going to be in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Devil Doc's really defending. He took it personally when I called out the Masked Singer, which I wasn't really calling out. It's just not for me. They had top tier singers apparently, like Gladys Knight. The Osmond twins were on there.
Okay.
And
Hanson. There we go.
The one we're the most excited for, Chris. But yeah, Milwaukee's best, tampering with Miami. He was suspended. So I agree with what Andy followed up with. Wouldn't the league announce a suspension? Yeah, they're not going to do a quiet suspension. You can't do a quiet suspension because the moment any other player in the league hears that you did a quiet suspension for a player, you have to do it for everyone. You can't do it. There's no way you could get away with it. I don't think this was a suspension. I don't think this was a quiet suspension behind the scenes. Someone would out it if they figured it out. And it's just not worth it to the league to risk that.
Yeah. What else do we got? Hey, what's up, Unknown? How are we doing tonight? Unknown 2324. Hope you're having a great weekend. Milwaukee's tampering on Miami. Yeah, I think Brady dealt with Belichick so many years. Now he's like, I'm going to do what I want. Arians is in the way. Totally. I mean, you're on the greener pastures away from, being you can enjoy things a little bit more. I guarantee you if he was still in New England, he wouldn't be doing no Masked Singer. There wouldn't be these kind of rumors.
Milwaukee's coming in with, look what the NBA did with Jordan. He retired and then came back. No, I don't buy that either. I don't buy that rumor that the NBA suspended Jordan and that's why he retired. That's not. I understand that there's people out there that feel that way and there's some backing to it. I just don't subscribe to that. I just think Jordan was like, I think literally Jordan had the mind like, I've won 3 straight. I'm the greatest player at this. But what if I become the greatest? And in his mind, he was super confident that he could become an elite baseball player. Clearly that didn't work. And that's why he jumped ship pretty quickly back to the NBA. But I just think it was all Jordan thinking like, yes, I am the single greatest basketball player to ever exist. Now, if I go and dominate baseball, I become the greatest athlete of all time, and no one could ever argue that moving forward.
There you go. Yeah. Chairman, I believe Brady. What else do we got here? Don't really follow my senior, but isn't that show live? Isn't it? Yeah, there is a live component to it.
I think after the first rounds, it sounds like, based off the Reddit I read, you have to advance, and then it becomes, if you reach the whatever round, then it becomes live, I believe.
That and MJ was secretly suspended, says Cuban.
Stop it. Stop with this, guys.
All right. So there you have it. That's what we have to work with on this one. Now, I'm sure, when things leak like this, and Gronk, it's great that he's not playing anymore because he's just opening his mouth and talking about all sorts of fun stuff. So maybe he'll, talk a little bit more. Obviously, there's not a lot of players as close to Tom Brady as Gronk is. So maybe he'll go on these shows. Maybe you know what we need to get Gronk? We need to get him a podcast.
Yep. Gronk, when he retired the last time, he went on network television with Fox and did the halftime and pregame and postgame. To me, it didn't work at all. That's not the outlet that Gronk fits in. Gronk needs his own side thing that's just casual. I don't need Gronk analyzing the game.
No,
I'm not that he can't. It just comes off he's not the best option for that as far as explaining everything, this and that. I'd rather Gronk's just entertaining. So get yourself a different platform, figure out where you fit in. It's just not on those network programs for Gronk, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it. That's going to wrap up Brady. All the info on that. But again, if you want to catch
single greatest storyline in preseason, and he's not even around football.
No. Brady doesn't fly commercial? No.
He definitely flies commercial. Come on, guys. He's probably just trying to get into that A class of Southwest. How do I'm going to pay that extra $10 to get a, guaranteed A boarding pass.
Cuban says he rides Greyhound, which I see that happening too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Greyhound buses are still a thing.
He's wealthy, but grounded, guys. Very grounded.
Andrew, great question. How do you get into the A boarding group? Not easily.
I think it's 10 or 15 more bucks, Andy. It's steep. It's steep, but Brady does it. He's able to afford that barely.
There you go.
Barely.
All right, next up, Deshaun Watson. Now, this story went down at the end of, so the next day after our Wednesday show, we were kind of speculating what this would look like. Roger Goodell obviously pushing back on, the suspension that was already handed down, which was only 6 games. And then all of a sudden, he's like, hey, I want him gone a full season. That's this is predatory. The words he was using were very intense when it came to how he was going to be appealing the suspension initially that was handed down. So you're thinking, hey, I'm thinking this is going to be at least a season. I think, Browns fans were just upset about this, and which is dumb. And you just had all these different, people thinking, all right, it feels like he's going to be good to miss one season. And, he's still, there's still a lot that goes into this. Well, we had an update Thursday after the show. After our Wednesday show, that Deshaun Watson will receive a 11-game suspension. This was an agreement, by the way, a settlement with the NFL and Deshaun Watson, where he will not get paid for these 11 games after he was accused by more than 24 women of sexual misconduct during massage sessions. Watson will also pay a fine of $5 million and undergo mandatory evaluation by behavioral experts and follow their suggested treatment program. So Watson's spokesperson, his suspension takes into effect August 30th when the NFL teams cut down to the roster limit of 53. He will be eligible for reinstatement November 28th and will be available to play for the Browns again in Week 13 when Cleveland faces, wait for it, the Houston Texans. Is that
in Houston?
In Houston, on the road. Is that and
Andy, who lives out in Houston? How do you protect your family?
Watch your kids, watch your wife, watch your daughters out there.
Don't.
Oof. this is there's a lot of unfortunate things that one, this seems like from an NFL standpoint that Roger Goodell folded like a tent, like a cheap tent, right? And just was like, hey, we're just going to go with this. It's just interesting how it landed on that specific. NFL wants ratings. Is it a coincidence that he's going to be returning for that Houston game in Houston? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. I guarantee that. So a lot of people unhappy with this. Twitter blew up. Not going to be something that, people are going to be a fan of. He's going to get booed around the league. It's crazy. Scotty, go.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at your comment. Cuban coming in clutch. I noticed the interesting photo you chose for this, Chris, here with Watson's. It's some tight shorts there, Chris. So I noticed that point, but Cuban took it to another level.
On,
He's like how you have Roger looking angrily at Watson's crotch. And that's kind of what's going on here. I mean, first of all, Watson, do you have no representation that advises you not? What are you doing? Wear some looser shorts out there. It'll be okay. You'll be fine. You don't have to. Goodness gracious. Does any other quarterback wear, I know, like, Derek Carr embarrassingly rolls up his sleeves, and that's embarrassing. But this is weird, man. This is weird. Anyway,
now I gotta vet my graphics that I pull from here on out. And
well, you didn't notice Watson's shorts here?
Do I?
It was an interesting. The whole time you were talking, I was just like, "That's an interesting choice."
Do I just pull it up? Pull it up there. Just leave it there.
Well, I mean, you can't. Okay.
Okay. All right. We're just gonna leave that there. Okay. All right.
There we are. He's now balls deep. No. Okay.
Oh, no.
Guys, let's bring this back. Let's bring it back.
Bring it back.
Thank you, Cuban. That was epic, Cuban, as he always delivers. Leave it. It's small. LLG girl. Oh, Andy reminds me of the Modern Family and Biker Shorts episode. Classic episode.
Come on, man.
Love it.
I'll vet the images more.
I mean, Chris, I can't believe you chose that image.
I saw. What
did you see, Chris?
I just saw Deshaun Watson, and then I don't look down. I don't look for those things. It wasn't something I was really focused in on.
I definitely saw it, and it's not something I wouldn't label myself as someone that just starts looking there, Chris.
Well, Roger Goodell has some interest. It looks like
some. Look of just sheer disappointment,
and it is unfortunate the placement of Roger Goodell too. So I just hit a home run with this one across the board.
Why is Roger so short? Is he on his knees, Chris?
Yeah,
is he on his knees?
Oh,
we're taking a serious matter. We're trying to we're making it light. It's fun. I mean, but I will say. As we're getting out of control.
All seriousness.
Out of control. I will say the chat's going off. Chat's going off with it. So
two-headed monster.
Intended or not, this is going great.
I should
for us. You should just. I have a feeling this is gonna be. Can't not look anymore, Chris.
I have a feeling this will be a very clipped segment of our show. Just have a hunch.
Put that on the TikTok. Is it the TikTok or just TikTok?
The TikTok, yes.
I thought so. I real quick, I'm not one to believe that the NFL was happy with his opening game being in Houston. There is no way the NFL... Listen, the NFL cares about ratings, no doubt. And yes, this will be a discussed game, but they would not... maybe I'm just being too positive towards the NFL, but they would not purposely decide hey, we really want you because of the timing of this would work out really well for us. I think, as I put in our Discord chat, There's a rumor out there, and then Chairman questioned it, and I don't know the specifics, so maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, but it had to do with, this was the ultimate stoppage point in which I think Deshaun Watson and his team would agree to on a settlement, because if he doesn't play 6 games this year, I believe, he doesn't tenure a year, and then his salary advances another year, and it falls back, and it's not a good situation for Deshaun's team. I could care less. I wish he made no money at all. So I don't care about Deshaun's money, but his team probably does. So this was probably, if they were going to reach a settlement, 11 was the peak that the NFL could have got and what Deshaun's team would have accepted because of the money situation that would have reportedly followed the following year. I still think he should have been out a year. Don't care about his money. It was a $5 million fine, which is like
nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but it's nothing to the guy who got the biggest guaranteed contract in the history of football, which is gross. Absolutely gross that he got that. And Cleveland will become, like, people are mad at the Astros, right? Like,
True.
fans were mad at the Astros when they cheated.
Yep.
I think Cleveland, it's going to be worse than that.
Oh,
I think it's going to be worse. They're going to, I think they've lost fans of their team in general. And I know they have lost diehard Browns fans that have stuck with them through 87 years of dog shit or whatever it is. I know they're a new franchise technically. But they've been shit, right? And they've stuck with him through that, but don't need to stick through this. I mean, they sold their soul. And Jimmy Haslam is embarrassing in his remarks. The whole team has handled it terribly. That's disappointing on every spectrum. People want to be mad at like Goodell in the NFL. I understand why you hate Goodell in the NFL and a lot of things they do and the punishments don't fit. Like, I get that. In this situation, your hate needs to be directed towards the Cleveland Browns 100%. This is all Cleveland just selling their absolute soul for wins. And I hope they fall flat on their face so much.
Yeah.
When he comes back, I hope they're out of contention, or even better, I hope they're in contention and he shits the bed, which I think he will do.
Well,
he's reportedly he looked trash in his one preseason game. He looked trash in camp the one day film. Like he's not an elite thrower of the ball, Chris. He never has been.
I mean, he hasn't been showing anything that has been eye-popping so far. It's kind of crazy. H-Town, welcome in H-Town. This is hitting right at home here. Real question is, sorry, it's moving on me. Real question, are the Texans giving him a tribute video? Ooh.
It's probably just this clip, Chris. It's probably just this image that we're going to sell to the Texans for, I don't know, $10,000.
It's this clip with
so
this image with the curb music playing behind, and then as he's running out of the tunnel, they got the curb music just rolling, blasting. I think that seems fair for a tribute video, I would think.
Yeah. We have zero rights to this, but $10K anyway. But I mean, I think the Texans are probably dumb enough to do it. So,
I don't think that that's true, Scotty. And when I went back to look for that tweet, it had been deleted.
As far as the one you questioned before, as far as the contract situation and why it was at 11 games with him needing 6 games, maybe it's not. I just read that from a source that seemed reputable. It may not be. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but if that's not true, it just seems like 11 games is very specific, Chris. It's like a weird number.
It's a random number.
I feel like the NFL always lands on an even number. Like, I don't even know if they know what odd numbers are based off their suspensions.
No.
It's always an even number. So to hit at 11 seems pretty odd. Especially if it wasn't a money situation. G-Girl thinks it's ratings. The NFL doesn't need the ratings from a Texans-Browns game, in my opinion. I think they're going to be fine without it.
Roger.
It's not worth it. That would be my advice to the NFL. Like, if Goodell came up to me and was like, hey, we could get really good ratings and really good discussion, really good talk based off of if this was their first game back. And I'd be like, yeah, but the actual game's going to suck. And do you really need that? Like, you're doing fine and you have way better matchups that you can market and way better teams. And I'd be like, I would think that Goodell would come to his senses, maybe not, and be like, you're right.
Well, it comes back down, and the flip side of that, right? So H-Town, I'm interested in going to the fans just to see how they react. Well, and that's what's going to happen in that. You mentioned that no one's going to care. Ratings are going to be down for a Browns-Texans game. Not on this one. People are going to want to see the train wreck of this guy's return and how much hate he gets. Like, people won't tune in for the game itself. They'll tune in, unless they bet on it, obviously. They'll tune in to see Watson just get raked over the coals, right?
Hopefully.
It's only going to happen, and it just.
But Andy puts out there, I think Watson probably wants to torch the Texans, which is maybe true in Watson's mind, but in everyone else's mind, what did the Texans do wrong? The Texans did wrong by catering, knowing that he had this issue, and kind of catered to it,
or not questioning the weird behavior.
Allowed it to happen, and kind of set up some of these. Quite frankly, I don't know why. Clearly Watson has some anger towards the Texans in general, but I don't know why. Like, they catered to his. And here's the other thing that sucks about all of this, Chris, that I haven't even mentioned, which is obvious. Watson in January is like, I didn't do anything wrong. And then last week, before this ruling came out, it was like, I'm sorry, I apologize to all the females I heard and this and that. And then the moment the decision comes down, he comes out and is just like, I didn't do anything wrong.
It's bad.
So why did you apologize a week ago? And quite frankly, it's embarrassing. Now the NFL should just counter. Like, I don't know if the stuff was probably signed or whatever, but it's yeah. Andy puts I'm sorry if it triggered you. By the way, if you're an athlete or an owner or a GM or anything like that, how you don't have someone telling you to not use the word triggered in anything you ever say is like. Triggered is basically you saying, I'm sorry if you were bothered by that. You shouldn't have been. That's how I feel about triggered, Chris. Like, triggered is basically, I'm sorry you're upset about that, but you shouldn't be because I didn't do anything wrong. That's what the word triggered. And I feel like not only did Deshaun use it, I think Jimmy Haslam used it, the owner of the Browns. Like, which is just wild.
Well,
wildly inept.
And it's going to be curious.
It's just they've handled this situation so poorly.
They've handled it poorly. And here's the thing. We have a lot of women in our show. We have a lot of women that watch the NFL that, we like, this is a huge deal to like the female population of like everyone out there that are fans of the game, and seeing this guy get away with what he got away with. And only serving 11 game and not really, it seems like a slap on the wrist. And it's like, man, when these games roll around and he starts traveling around, man, there's gonna be a lot of ladies that they're gonna have something to say. I guarantee it. And let's just.
Do you think there's any chance? I don't foresee this, but it's a question. Do you see there's any chance? And then by now it probably would have already happened. And these players just want to get paid and do what they're doing. But a player comes out that plays for that team and is like, I don't want to play for this team anymore. I don't want to be a part of what you guys are standing for and what you signed the largest guaranteed contract in the history of football for. Like elite players even. Like, someone take a stand and be like, I don't trade me. Like, I don't want to be here because of what you have decided is more important than anything else. I don't foresee that, but I would love that. I would love if a player stepped up and did that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what that looks like? And then you have other players doing the same thing, supporting. Yeah, it's crazy. It takes one person. It takes one impact player to do that, and it would make headlines everywhere, realistically. Football wife, he's a douchebag. Yeah, absolutely. How is Milwaukee's best? How is this guy going to walk into a Browns facility and say, I want a massage? Like,
well, I mean, and everyone admits wrongdoing because he has to have pre-approved, and they're not going into too much detail, but it has to be team approved. It has to be in their facility. It's just like so many things that should actually just be normal things, but they have to throw out caveats because, listen, Deshaun has, like, clearly it's an addiction to the point he did it.
Yeah,
it's an addiction. It's a
problem.
He's an addict. He's an addict on whatever that was, whatever that entailed. He was an addict, and he didn't care about the person on the other end of it. He didn't.
Yeah.
He just was like, I'm an athlete and I'm going to get them to go here, and they know what they're signing up for.
The difference is he gets to move on with his life, making millions of dollars playing football, and they get to go home traumatized and, 100%. Questioning their profession moving forward. Like, there's two different outcomes. One person benefits and continues to succeed. The others, they have a tougher route when it comes to their profession now, which is sad to say. H-Town. Sad thing is he was the face of the Texas franchise and one of the top QBs in the league.
100%. I mean, he seemed, from everything you heard, like one of the nice, genuine, good guys, and like it just makes you question, like, what's behind closed doors. Maybe we should be careful to lift up these people that maybe aren't worthy of what we're doing. Yep. But I get it. Like, people need role models. They need people to look up to. They need things outside of their own life to look at and be like, this matters so much to me. I get that 100%. He's just clearly failed now in that. I don't know if all do, but he has.
I heard he purchased Massage Envy franchise. He can't purchase anything without eyeballs watching. There's no way he's doing anything without 10 people checking off on it first. It's sad, especially anyone that's been through these types of situations. Totally. Cuban, look how many NFL cities went crazy talking about how to land him when he announced that he wanted out of Houston. And that was in the midst of everything, right? That was why everything paused for a little bit. Carolina was invested time and resources into trying to put some packages together. You had all sorts of teams that were in the mix.
Better usage of the word packages, Chris.
Come on, man. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I mean, I think there were a lot of teams, some backed off, and I think ultimately everyone backed off last offseason. Otherwise, he would have been moved and not just sat for a year. I think it did affect people. I think Denver was probably involved before everything came out with this last year.
No, they dropped off quick after that.
I think no, I do think they dropped off. I think that's true. But they were involved before it, which is, I mean, they needed a quarterback. That's totally fine. Andy, him and Tiger need that sex addict rehab. Agreed. They're both addicts. I would argue that Tiger, and maybe we don't know everything, but I think Tiger did it in a fashion where the other party was a willing party. He was certainly an addict, cheated on his wife repeatedly, and had a lot of issues there, but he didn't just put it in a situation of a massage that was a surprise to the person that was supposed to be doing a paid duty. I think Tiger, everyone that got involved with Tiger had a willing part in that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Is my opinion. I don't know for sure, I guess.
Klept, so watch episode 1 of that Manti Te'o doc. Feel bad his family consoled his fake girlfriend's family. Other than that, the signs were there that he was being captured. You can't say that, Klept, because honestly, well, And watch the second episode clip, but that was before catfishing was a thing, though.
Yeah,
That was before like people. That was before the show came out, I believe. That was before all these things. Like there wasn't really a lot of that. I mean, the internet was super early. I mean, or like as far as like social media and what people were doing on social media. So it's hard to tell that he didn't see it coming, especially with the intricacies of what was said on that phone by the same person in 4 different voices. It sounds from the voicemails like, you can't. I think most of us would have been like, all right, this probably would have like got me into trouble too. Like if I was in that situation, if I was like,
I mean, it sounds like at points he questioned things. It's not like he never questioned it.
Sure.
And was just totally comfortable with like never seeing this person. If you watch the whole doc, and again, like you stated, like it wasn't really a thing then. Like that wasn't something you would even think about happening.
Yeah.
Being catfish or whatever. The term wasn't even out there really at that point. So, yeah. Other things, Chairman, the more important question is how to fix this going forward. The criminal justice system hasn't seemed to find the solution. We'd be crazy to think the NFL would.
Well, the NFL has had its own issues trying to drop down punishments and associate crimes outside of the game with how they manage the game itself and like suspensions and what there's not really been consistency across the board, and there needs to
Not
be
even close.
There needs to be something that
Just
there's some standards.
Well, it's hard because a lot of these punishments that have come down haven't been criminally charged. So you could put a stipulation. If you're criminally charged with sexual assault, you're automatically suspended a season. You could put that out there. But Watson hasn't been technically criminally charged. Other guys they've suspended, like Roethlisberger, like Ezekiel Elliott, like
I mean, you had Ray Rice back in the day, which that was more.
Ray Rice video was insane, obviously, and he was originally suspended 2 games, and then the video came out, and they're like, it was a firestorm of disaster,
which shouldn't be the case. Realistically, the fact that you make those
the NFL should have had access, and maybe did. I'm not gonna say they definitely did, but maybe did have access to that video that came out. And if they did, it's gross that they only suspended him 2 games. I mean, there's been a lot of guys there was a defensive end that eventually played for the Cowboys that like assaulted his girlfriend or wife, like brutally beat her like a decade ago that I'm drawing a blank on.
The guy that went into the UFC?
Yeah.
Why you have to
Well, you have to be mad.
I mean, the MLB has done a good job with Trevor Bauer. A lot of points made there. Like Trevor Bauer, pitcher in Major League Baseball, rumored, hasn't been, I don't know where that's at exactly, but maybe not criminally charged, but at the same time has been out of the league since midway of last year. Once it came out, he hasn't come back since. And no one seems to care. Maybe Trevor Bauer does. I bet he does, but he put himself in this situation by brutally. And there's an argument. I mean, he supposedly like. Yeah, it was Greg Hardy. Thank you, Andy. I knew you would know as a Cowboys fan who I was talking about, but I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be this hard. Mm-hmm. I think the problem is how diehard NFL fans are. No offense compared to MLB. Like MLB loses a player, you lose a pitcher, that sucks. You're going to talk about it for a while, but through time it kind of goes away. A quarterback in the NFL, it just doesn't go away, and it's a problem. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's just something that you can't just be like, we'll just indefinitely suspend him for forever. Although I think the NFL would have loved to do that with Watson. I think they would have loved to do that. I really do. But I don't think they felt like that was a reality for what they could pull off based off of their ineptitude in prior cases. Like, they only have themselves to blame. The NFL, I think, wanted to get aggressive and go over the top and suspend him for a long, long time. And Watson, I really, really do. But they couldn't because of their history, their own blame in this.
They need to start fresh now. Like, I mean, they need to set the standards now. And they need to set standards like, all right, you have a felony or you have something that happens. There's an automatic tie into if you're convicted.
Yeah, but he's not a felon, Chris.
No. I'm just saying, I'm just saying in general. Like, let's say someone commits a felony. So let's say someone commits a misdemeanor. Let's say someone commits a traffic violation or driving under the DUI. Like, having some set standards of this is what for everyone who out there who has kids, if you don't have discipline for your kids and it's kind of like wishy-washy on like, hey, you can't do that or else I might ground you or I might put you in timeout. I haven't figured it out yet, but let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Like, that kid isn't going to realize that discipline is, once you come to that, it's not going to work. It's not going to curb they don't know what to expect from a discipline standpoint. So whatever, right? So I think that's a similar thing. Like, you have to set some standards when it comes to off the field altercations or incidents, from the minor, whether that's stupid marijuana stuff, all the way up to like big stuff. Set the standard and just lay it out there. Do something.
I think Chairman talks about this and he says, I agree with your principle, Chris, but the problem is that the penalty for an accusation when no charges have been filed.
Yeah, it's true. That's the big wrench, that it's like you're waiting for that trial date. It could happen later on.
And
you're innocent until proven guilty.
If someone is charged, I think what the NFL should do is, if someone is charged with a felony, anything beyond a misdemeanor, that person should be indefinitely suspended pending their legal proceedings. And if they are proven to be not guilty, the NFL has enough money to back pay that. They should take that on and have an insurance policy where they back pay that. All right, you missed out on this payment because you were tied up in these legal proceedings and you were found not guilty. We'll back pay you. We'll back pay and we'll reimburse you for the money lost and the time lost. But you don't play until your case is settled if you're a felony or bill.
Which you think about that, right? Let's say you're a player going into a contract season. Let's say there's a big free agency coming up and you're going to get paid or something else. Maybe that alters the way you think about what you do when you're just on the side, right? Because then from there it's like, I'm going to be missing out on getting a big payday. Sure, I can, if I'm proven innocent, I can get that money back that I would have made this season, but that's not. I'm taking the hit on the back end when it comes to signing a new contract with a new team with all these distractions and all these things. They might put more stuff in the contract that stipulates if you do this bad, this thing, then. So there needs to be something, but it's crazy. I want to get back to Cubans. On what level?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a code yellow as you finish this out, and when I come back, Chris, we're gonna move on because I am upset about this just like everyone else is, but at the same time, we spent way too much time. So much that I don't. It sounds sad to say, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No. I agree. We spent way too much time on this topic, and it needs to be said. Let's spam code yellow in the chat. Let's hit it. Cuban, on what level is Watson's addiction to this ruining it for lots of other players, owners, etc. in the NFL? No way he is the only one ordering unlicensed massages online. Not far from Robert Kraft. There is a reason they allowed his contract to be structured so it isn't really getting in trouble. Totally. Like it's a systematic thing. Like there's other things that got into this. Milwaukee's Elliott got suspended 6 games for lifting a girl's shirt up. Yeah, I mean, consistency. That's what I'm talking about. It's consistency. There's an issue though. The lifespan on athletes is capped. It's not like you work. Yeah, no, totally. Clep. That was kind of my point. Is like, you missing out on playing time really hurts you in the long run when it comes to getting into new contracts, getting into, trade scenarios. Teams might shy away all of a sudden. They might not give you that. Maybe you don't play and you get an injury right off the bat, then you're done. Like there's a lot of things that could happen, which you should think twice about, right? So interesting stuff. But like Scott said, let's move on from it. We don't have to worry about talking about this until week 11, we hope, because that's going to be a topic at that point. So we'll see what ends up happening with that homecoming of sorts back to Houston. So it could be interesting. Otherwise, let's get back into it, and let's get into our preseason news. By the way, guys, my name is Chris. Scott, who is not here, are your hosts for the Action Lab. Hit that follow button if you have not already, and make sure that you guys are joining in all the fun here on the Action Lab. We talk a lot of different things, whether that's serious, fun, entertaining, you name it. We talk a little bit about everything on here. So make sure you guys hit that follow button so you know exactly when we go live every Wednesday and every Sunday. We'll have some mixed games going in on like a Thursday night once in a while, maybe a Monday night once in a while, that if you're not following and if you're not part of our socials, make sure you are, because we might be doing some streams, especially during the NFL season, that we might not normally do. So agree with you, Chris. Losing time as a pro athlete is more than money. That's why it would have been far more impactful to give him a full year. Yeah, Chairman, I totally agree. I mean, it's a big time deal there. Did Scott redecorate his wall? Says Broncos.
No, but I have some thoughts in mind, guys. I have some thoughts in mind. I really have to. It's just a lazy thing. I have to install probably just, hanging shelves, because like I've said before, my wife works also in this room a lot, and makes surprisingly more than I do on this stream, Chris. I mean, we do real good on this stream.
Sherman says you need a lion's fat head. Lion's fat head in the background.
Oof. I mean, that might attract viewers just to see the shitstorm of sadness or the inflated, thought that, this is the Lions' year every year. No offense, Chairman. I appreciate you being here, and it might work. It might work. So are fat heads still a thing?
Yeah, I think so. We have not gotten clout to the ratings yet. We're getting to that next. We're just going to cover a quick little storylines. A couple storylines here from week 2 of the preseason. We have, Hard Knocks off and running for your Detroit Lions there, Chairman. So, we have, some of that to talk about. But, we're just going to keep this high level, go through this quick. Scott, if you have any major, takeaways from any of the games, feel free to throw them out there. Otherwise, we could get to our top 10 defenses, which is coming up next. So make sure you stick around for that. And again, hit that follow button if you have not already. Andy's heading out. Let's give Andy a nice J.R. Smith goodbye. And
thank you,
we will
Andy.
see you back here Wednesday.
Andy, I was just about to touch on a highlight of week 2 being, the special teams of the Cowboys, and specifically a dude named Kevontae Turpin. But Andy, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the gifted subs. Love you, buddy. Hey, Andy, get your ass out to Colorado one of these weekends for a football weekend, please.
Yep.
Please. But anyway, have a good night. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you, buddy. Love you.
All right. So what other takeaways, Scotty? Lot going on here. So, Tennessee Titans beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, no one cares about the scores of these games. It's more about just getting young kids some talent. Malik Willis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Malik Willis, is learning on the fly here, trying to pick things up in an offense. The Tennessee Titans usually pretty, potent on offense with Ryan Tannehill. They did really nice things last year, but Mike Vrabel is kind of like the head honcho there, and he's going to be keeping an eye on these quarterback battles. Even though Ryan Tannehill is most likely going to go into the season as the starter, Malik Willis is still learning behind. But yeah, so you got that going, trying to get some eyes on him. What else do we have? We got the Broncos getting blown out, so nothing really fun to watch there. I didn't even watch any of this game. I was out of town, but try to keep tabs on it every so often, and then just let that one go. Moon Princess's Bills put it to us here. So, Greg Dulcich is
just barely.
Greg Dulcich was kind of one of the rookies that we were looking to get some action, and he's injured with a hamstring. So got to get Albert O in the mix, and he played a lot. Which is kind of strange, but he played a lot. Interesting.
Is that a concern? They're not playing any starters, and then Albert O just gets stuck out there like a sore thumb. Like clearly they're not happy with him based off that. If they were happy with his performance, he wouldn't be playing.
Yeah, and I just think that I'm going
to dive into their whole situation, which I think is bizarre in Denver, but that alone is weird.
It's a little strange, and the fact that if he's your guy. If he's your number one,
who else do they have at tight end?
So they have Alberto, then they have Greg Dulcich, who they drafted this past year. But I couldn't tell you on the depth chart who else they have.
Come on, man.
It's pretty sparse after that.
I don't know how, but I just heard that "Come on, man." I don't know if it was through your stream or whatever. That's the first "Come on, man" I've ever heard. What's up, Amandalorian?
You know what's weird is
she broke it. She broke the system.
You know what's weird is like there was a bunch of woos and all these other things earlier it's so weird, man. I don't know. I can't figure this out. But hey, you heard it. There you go. Maybe you could hear some other cool things now. Nice slice of humble pie. Cowboys with a top 10 defense, as Andy on the way out. What's up? Yeah, Mandalorian, welcome in. Let's see. Andrew Beck is number 3. Broncos games was blocked in our area anyway. Yeah. Baltimore Ravens have extended their preseason winning streak to 22. Congrats. How's that paying off for you in like the regular season?
What's the postseason record?
that's kind of where
recently.
Eagles got to be up there on the defense. We'll get into all of our rankings here on the defenses here. So weird things happening in Denver. I'm starting, the more and more I'm seeing some of these things, the more and more it's like it's either Nathaniel Hackett is trying too much to like smoke and mirror stuff, or he like the team, like the offense is just not ready and he's just trying to get people more reps, or like either way there's some weird things happen. I agree with you. There's I'm curious to see how the next game goes, but I mean,
listen, there are a lot of teams, and I'm not going to get on the soapbox. Maybe I will on Wednesday. This might be a coming in hot on Wednesday. We'll see. But there are a lot of teams that aren't playing their starters at all. But Denver not playing their starters to me is the most bizarre thing ever, Chris. I'm not saying it can't work, but it's bizarre. When you have a new quarterback to be paired with a first-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator, and first-time defensive coordinator, which we've talked about before, and to not play your starters essentially outside of like weirdly Albert O, which you must be like punishing him or something. I don't know what's going on there. Is bizarre to me, because there's something to be said for, I get you, and they have these in-game, like the practices against the teams they're about to play. They practice against the Cowboys before week 1 preseason and all that. I get that, but there's something to be said for an actual game. You put on the uniform, you're hitting for real, it's a real situation. And when you have first time, more so than the players, the first time coaches, I think, need to be acclimated and like, listen, even your head coach who's going to call offensive plays wasn't calling offensive plays in Green Bay. Now, has he done it before? Yes, he's done it in his career, but he wasn't the last couple of years. So your head coach, who's never been a head coach, who's also going to call plays, hasn't ever had to manage both those jobs before, and isn't going to do it until game week 1. And your defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, who haven't done that job before, aren't really going to do it in a real situation. I know preseason doesn't really matter, but till week 1, that seems idiotic to me.
Well,
seems so dumb.
You want your guys out there, especially in a new offense, especially given all the new circumstances, to like get some, give them one drive. Give them a drive. Give them a drive.
Yeah, if you're that afraid of your season ending based off an injury off of one drive, I don't want you as the head coach of my team.
It's strange.
I don't. If you live in that much fear, I don't want you as a leader of my men. If you're that afraid of what could happen because granted, once week 1 hits, that can happen on any play, right? So there's way more chances during the regular season that happens, and I get that it's different, but at the same time, like the Rams ruined preseason football, Chris. Rams under, McVay have never played their starters, and then all of a sudden they get hot at the end of this last year and they go and win a Super Bowl. Were the Rams the best team in the league last year? Probably not. Did they win a Super Bowl? Yes, they did. Props to them. And now every team looks at, well, they didn't play anybody in the preseason. They won a Super Bowl. And it's just a copycat league, Chris. They're like, well, I guess we don't have to play anybody. But situations are different. And guess what? You're probably not as good of a coach as McVay. And your roster's probably not as good as the Rams in general. I'm not talking about a specific team here. It just drives me nuts. And this still might be my coming in hot on Wednesday. I'm so mad at preseason football, Chris. I'm so mad at it. But you know who still respects it? Andy motherfucking Reid.
Andy Reid. There you go. I'll
talk about that real quick, Chris. The Chiefs. Okay.
Here we go. It's your birthday, so I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you get it out.
I understand it's preseason, Chris, and I understand. Listen, you don't put too much in preseason. What I have seen in preseason is a Patrick LeVon Mahomes, 3 offensive series in 2 games, 3 touchdowns, Chris, 3 touchdowns on 3 series. That seems good. That, like, analytically, that holds up, right?
Sure.
Okay. The first team defense, 3 series on defense, giving up 0 points. 0 points, Chris. So extrapolate that to a whole season, and we have on ourselves the single greatest team to ever exist by far, Chris, in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm close to announcing it. Chris. And mind you, this was out without his 2 series yesterday were without his number 1 wide receiver in Juju and his number maybe 3 wide receiver in McCole, depending on where it all falls. McCole Hardman. Neither of them played yesterday, and it did not matter because who I trust more on a 3rd and long to get a first down in the history of football more than Patrick Mahomes?
Who is it?
The answer is no one, Chris. Patrick Mahomes, you can throw out everything else. He might be at times, and he had an awful second half against the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes is the single greatest 3rd and long quarterback I've ever seen. Because he just does, on 3rd down, who gives a shit he gets sacked? Who gives a shit if he makes a bad play? Who gives a shit if it's a bad incompletion? It doesn't matter, but what he will do off platform and off script and all of this, if people aren't open, he will get you a first down. So many quarterbacks just are like, oh, I'll just hit this 5-yard route and see if they break 2.5 tackles in order to get a first down. Not LeVon, Chris. Not LeVon.
Once you get into the regular season and the playoffs, and it's the game changes, and preseason, everyone looks good in preseason, right, Scotty? Everyone loves their teams.
Yeah, no, Mahomes hasn't looked good in the regular season before, Chris. I'm just totally predicating this on preseason.
Yeah, I totally get it. And
he hasn't made the overtime of the AFC Championship all 4 years that he's played. That hasn't happened.
Mandalorian in the chat. Most of those players playing right now will be assistant high school coaches or personal trainers by the end of the preseason. True. There's a lot of people out there that won't be making these teams. Cuts are coming down the pipeline. So, it's getting closer and closer. 17 days, 17 hours, 5 minutes, and 16 seconds. There you go. Wilson found the heavyweight QB champ of the NFL. And add Super Bowl champ to that at the end of this season.
No, I think we're just talking about a weight issue there, Chris.
Nope, I didn't see it that way. Packers lost 37-3 week 1 and went 13-4 without playing anyone.
100%. And then didn't do so great in the postseason. How great, Chris? Did you watch in Milwaukee's Best the interview between I don't know, the guy that works for Barstool. That's a huge Bears fan.
Yeah, we talked about this on the last one.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't even remember, Chris.
When he was,
It was epic.
Oh,
epic
it was
conversation.
great. Yeah, I about how he was like, oh, I win a ton of Super Bowls. My Super Bowl is watching you lose in the playoffs.
But I've actually seen more clips of it this week, where it's like Rodgers like, oh, do you remember that time you guys were leading like by this much, and then I came back and beat you, and all of this stuff. Like Rodgers went back toe to toe and back and forth with him, and it was nice. Entertaining. I'll give you that.
He gave him a gift, and then like the wrapping paper inside the gift was like an old sack that he broke his collarbone or something like that. It was great. So we will keep an eye on the rest of this preseason, but we want to get to defenses now.
It's important to note that a Mandalorian also thinks Russell Wilson's really fat, because I trust her judgment beyond belief.
Oh yeah, Mandalorian. She knows her stuff, right? Wilson needs Brady to hook him up with that TB12 method workout program. LOL.
And he would advertise he's doing it, but just get fatter, because he's not really doing it behind the scenes. Russell Wilson is the corniest player I've ever. And I don't even like the word corny, but he fits that to a mold. He's so corny.
He owns it. He's
so lame. He's so lame.
All right.
So like personality wise. Yeah, let's get into defenses, Chris.
Defenses here. We already covered offenses last week, but we are getting into defenses, and we want to make sure that you guys know when it comes to defenses, who kind of made some moves, who's standing out, and who's making the opposing quarterback a little bit, shaky, right? When it comes to throwing the ball downfield or that pass rush, right? So we're going to dive into our top 10 NFL defenses here and make sure that, we're closing the gap on all the knowledge you need for this upcoming NFL season, 17 days away. So let's go ahead. We'll start out with the Los Angeles Chargers, who made plenty of moves. They were pretty active. If
they picked up a couple big names, I'll say that for sure.
The bigger names highlighted here are like Khalil Mack. They got Bosa on the other side here. They got James, who signed, nice little deal there.
JC Jackson on the outside. Corner from New England was the top corner on the market. They signed the top corner in JC Jackson. And traded for Khalil Mack in a deal that seemed like a steal. I don't know if Khalil Mack's like peak Khalil Mack, but when you have above average Khalil Mack to go along with Joey Bosa, that's a pretty stout pass rush right there, and adding one of the better corners in the game. I always get concerned when the Patriots are like ready to move off a player, because 9 times out of 10 that player then just doesn't work out for that next team. There's a couple of guys that have proven that wrong, but most don't. But JC Jackson might be slightly overrated in my opinion, but he's still really, really good. So you have Derwin James coming off the huge contract he got this week at safety. If he's healthy, he's one of the top safeties in the league. Nasir Adderley at the other safety spot was a 2nd round pick. That's nice. I worry about here's where their huge weakness was last year, and I don't know if they necessarily address it, or I don't know if they care, because their coaching staff is very analytics based. They were the worst run defense in the league last year.
They were terrible.
They could not stop the run, and I'm not sure they're going to stop the run this year. And I'm not sure they care. Analytically, I think their coaching staff's kind of the mind like, all right, run on us. If you think you can run on us to score every time and beat us, good luck, because our offense is too good for that. And you have to consistently run the ball. And the moment you get a 0 yard or -1 yard run, you're in trouble. I think that's what they're basically founded on. I put them at 10. They've not touched this in a long time for me. I think most people probably think on paper they're higher than this. I had a hard time putting them in. And I will be honest, Chris, I made these rankings. Making defensive rankings is almost impossible, because unlike offense, which is very consistent year to year, if you have an elite quarterback, you're probably going to be good at offense, things like that. Like, defense is inconsistent year to year. It's way less consistent. So making a top 10 ranking of defenses, and the teams I left out, I'm like, literally anyone who argues my rankings, I would not blame you at all.
It could be right on the edge, right? Yeah, you can make arguments for this. Joey Bosa, he was incredible, right? 27% run stop win rate, which, again, they were bad against the run. So, it's still
terrible.
Since 2020.
Their interior line is kind of trash.
Yeah. So they really need to figure out how to stop runs. But next up on the list, New Orleans Saints. Now, New Orleans Saints, they've always kind of had like a sneaky defense that you don't really think about too much, but that they've been competitive over a lot of years, and defense has been one of the strengths of those teams, more so than anything else. New Orleans Saints coming in at number 9.
Yeah. This probably, honestly, is too low. Chris, can you move it to the...
Yeah.
So I know they added 2 new safeties. So they lost Marcus Williams to their elite safety to the Ravens. They ended up getting the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, and Marcus May from the Jets to cover for that safety. You have one of the top corners in the league at Marcus Lattimore on the outside. Jordan and Davenport are elite, especially Jordan is one of the top, defensive linemen in the league. Davenport is up and coming, still young, but growing there. Quite frankly, and their linebacker core is really, really solid. This is probably too low. You could easily slot. They're definitely a top 10 defense to me, and this defense is going to carry them. And now they have their defensive coordinator that's now the head coach. I fully expect this defense to continue to be really, really good, and with Dennis Allen at the helm, continue to lead, and this defense is going to carry the way. I don't know, like Marcus Williams, I think losing him, he's a better player than any safety you signed here with Matthew and May, but that's not like a weakness by any means. So there's not like a ton of like elite, like outside of like Jordan, like elite and Lattimore star power, but really, really good across the board.
Yeah, and they're pretty good at doing another thing too, and that's beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Greatest quarterback ever, posted only an 89.7 passer rating with a 4 touchdown, 3 interception ratio, and 2 losses against the Saints last year. So
they're so good against the Bucs.
They're so good. It's crazy.
So good.
I mean, the Saints allowed the 4th lowest quarterback average rating, 81.7, which is the same, pretty much around the same as what they do for Tom Brady, and allowed the 3rd lowest touchdown rate, 3.4. So pretty good. They're going to be consistently good. I think they'll be right in the mix too. I think you're right. I think they might be a little bit underrated here. In the chat, Double Doc, like when Washington was supposed to be elite last year and got torched horribly.
You're right. And this is what I mean by like defenses are hard to project year to year because there can be so much inconsistency. Because 2 years ago, the Washington defense was really, really good, and they brought everyone back, and like they had the number 1 draft pick that was headed into his 2nd year and is supposed to be a stud, and then he got hurt. But even before he got hurt, he wasn't that good. Like, it's so hard to project defense. It's so difficult year to year.
I heard apples, bananas, and carrots help stop the runs. Send that note over to the Chargers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Broncos.
Chase Young got hurt yet.
That's true too.
Yeah, but they weren't good last year before he got hurt, and he wasn't good before he got hurt. But yeah, I mean, he was obviously the number 1 pick in the draft for a reason. He's pretty good. Or was he 2? He was 1 or 2. I can't remember now.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. All right, next up, San Francisco 49ers nice little defensive unit here. Nick Bosa is already one of the best players in the NFL, coming off his first full season post ACL surgery. So, obviously he's going to be, super intense when it comes to, putting pressure on the quarterback in a division where, there's quarterback questions, right? You got Seattle that doesn't know who they're going with. You got their own team. They don't even know who they're going with realistically. But yeah, I mean, I think that, they can put some pressure on Kyler, try to get him to make some mistakes, but he's going to be a big part of this. But San Francisco 49er defense last year, in the playoffs. 12 sacks, 85.8% quarterback rating allowed, 3.1 yards per rush, and 15.6 points per game allowed. Pretty good. So, D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, will be running that unit. Scotty, what do you like about these guys?
Yeah, real quick, a Mandalorian. Whoa, Scotty's actually 3 for 3 on these picks.
Ooh.
Minus the whoa. Yeah, of course I am.
I'm going to take my code yellow, by the way.
Yeah, spam in the chat. Chris is going to go ahead and do a code yellow as I break down the 49ers here. Appreciate it, Mandalorian. Just wait till you are going to be real mad if my Chiefs are in the top 10. So buckle up. I could be bluffing. I don't know. Anyway, with the 49ers, Chris touched on D'Amico Ryans. I actually think arguably that is the most important piece. On paper, they may not be a top 10 defense, but I think D'Amico Ryans is certainly a top 3 defensive coordinator in the league and did a phenomenal job. And I'd be shocked if he's not interviewed by multiple teams this next offseason if he has another year like he did last year with the Niners. I mean, we think about this Niners team with Jimmy Garoppolo last year and making an NFC championship game. Like, when they beat Green Bay, I know the weather was bad, but I mean, the defense did a phenomenal job and carried them. The offense didn't do anything. I know the special teams got a turnover, but the defense was way better based off, like, they got injured in the secondary beyond belief last year. Milwaukee's Best said they cheated. Okay, sure, they cheated. Anyway, the Niners, you look at the Niners, you start with their defensive line. Nick Bosa, I think he's the better of the two Bosa brothers. Both are great. If I had to pick one, I'm taking Nick over Joey slightly. It's close. You have Eric Armstead right next to him on that defensive line. And if Javon Kinlaw, the first-round pick out of South Carolina, can ever become what he should be, that's a dominant defensive line. You also where Fred Warner is one of the best linebackers in the league. In the linebacker core, leading the middle of that. They signed my boy Charvarius Ward, a corner that has played with the Chiefs the last few years, who's been solid. Not elite, but very, very, very solid. So that's an actually upgrade for them at corner based off of what they had last year with all the injuries they had to do. And they were 5th in what's called DVOA in defense last year. It's a metric by Football Outsiders that ranks defenses based off of a lot of analytics that we won't get into, but they were ranked 5th in the league last year, and I think their defense actually comes in healthy and better this year with D'Amico Ryans at the helm. There's a lot to like here, and the Niners defense is going to have to carry the way. The offense is going to have some growing pains with Trey Lance. I think they're going to have some great weeks with Trey Lance and some really, really bad weeks where, the defense is going to have to carry the way.
Let's see. We got a redemption here. Casually average. Don't say anything at all about the Cleveland defense, which I don't think is even on our list tonight.
We won't. We weren't planning on it.
But aren't the Cleveland Browns trash, like up the middle? Like their interior defense line.
Wait, we're supposed to say something negative or positive? I always get confused. Negative.
I think they're trash on the interior defensive line is not good. And I don't think that they got any better at that position.
They have expended a ton of early draft picks on the secondary. And outside of Ward, who's worked out kind of okay, but he was like a top 5 pick, so he's kind of underachieved even still. They haven't hit on those guys. They've really underachieved on them.
Casually average. List seems reasonable so far. Let me know when the Jets make the list.
We'll see you next decade.
Milwaukee's. I think you should flip San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Fran. Swap.
Absolutely not. Los Angeles is only on this list based off of paper. They were a trash defense last year.
They were terrible.
I understand they got Khalil Mack and JC Jackson, but that can't change everything. They were I'll check DVOA, but they were in the mid-20s. They were very much at the bottom of the league.
Coming in number 7, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, number 7 here. And, Dallas, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys have some really good playmakers, some studs that I really like a lot. Obviously, Diggs is special. But then you got Parsons, who absolutely is like worth the price of admission to watch him play each and every single week anyway. So they still have, in my opinion, a nice little defense here. I think that there's some star power on it. I think that they could still do some nice things. They got to do something to keep the offense in these tight games, right? But go ahead, Scotty. What do you got on the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys were the number, as far as DVOA, the number 2 defense in the league last year. Now, a lot of people will point and have pointed to their turnover margin last year. Like, they were historically good at getting turnovers last year, and that's historically not repeatable. Like, it doesn't just continue on that path year to year. So they will regress in turnovers. So that's why I have them ranked at 7. I'm not ready to just eliminate it from the top 10, because there's a metric called success rate. And when you look at this success rate metric that's out there, it's a positive play for the defense. So it treats a incompletion the same as a pick 6 on 3rd down.
Okay.
So the numbers are the same. So it eliminates the turnover spectrum. They were, on success rate, still the number 4 defense in the league last year. So it's not like you remove turnovers, they were still a top 4 defense. And with the turnovers, they were a top 2 defense last year. I think they have the defensive player of the year in Micah Parsons. I screamed to the moon how Micah Parsons is the most talented defensive player I've seen come out in a long time. He can rush a quarterback. He can drop in and play coverage. He can literally do it all. He's great against the run. He is an everything piece that the Broncos should have drafted, Chris, but they didn't.
They didn't. They didn't.
They got Surtain, which you got a jersey of, but
I'm still waiting for that jersey in the mail.
I will always remind you when you have your Surtain jersey on that you didn't draft Micah Parsons instead,
which would be, oh my gosh, if you were to give me that choice between, oh man, yeah, that would.
I just, and a lot of people are hating on Trayvon Diggs in camp. Trayvon Diggs is susceptible to get beat deep, but he's an elite ball play. Like, he will get some picks this year. He's good in coverage. Can he get deep from time to time? Beat deep? Yes, absolutely. But I like the safety play. The linebacker core, you add Barr, an experienced linebacker. They do lose Randy Gregory on the other side, but that was kind of their number 3 pass rusher behind DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. So, well, I think they would like to have certainly Gregory back as they try to get him back. Losing him isn't like the end of the world by any means. Solid safety play, solid corner play. Browns look actually really good in camp at the other corner spot. I think this defense, especially early on when the Cowboys are waiting for injuries to recover at the wide receiver spot, are going to carry the way for them, and they'll be just fine.
Yeah, they might need to get a little better on the red zone defense. They rank 20th in red zone touchdown rate allowed, 61.7%. So, they probably want to tighten that up a little bit, but I think that they can do that. I think that they should be able to close some of that gap, I would hope. All right, next up, let's get to the chat real quick, actually. Trayvon Diggs is trying to outshow his brother last season.
I mean, he did a pretty good job of it.
He must be drinking before the top 5. Can we get a happy birthday? Hey! Happy birthday to Scotty. Scotty A. Smith, happy birthday today.
It's not. It's my birthday today?
It's your birthday. Well,
it is. It is.
I'll drink today.
Literally today.
Yeah, there you go. It's rare that we can have like a birthday on a stream like this. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's high praise, Scotty. I think TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Aaron Donald would like to have a word.
I respect the hell out of those guys, and Aaron Donald's a monster. The other two are really, really good. And I know TJ Watt like set the sack record last year. I would, if I was starting a team and I had to pick a defensive player, I would pick right now. I'd pick Micah Parsons, and I think most evaluators in the league, I would say over 2/3 would pick Micah as well.
Interesting. With big names like that,
and that's nothing against those players because they're great, especially Aaron Donald. TJ Watt's really, really good. Myles Garrett every year gets hyped as like the defensive player of the year, and he's always really, really good, but I don't know if he ever lives up to like defensive player of the year hype. He's just that freak athlete that every year they're like, he's gonna do it this year.
I 100%
really good year, but he's never where you think he should be.
I 100% agree with you on the Myles Garrett thing. Like, I was gonna say something about him earlier when they were talking about the Cleveland defense. Don't say anything at all. I'm like, does he kind of just disappear as the season goes on? Because I feel like he's still. And then you look at his stats, and he's had fine stats. Well, he's great.
Well, he disappears because he tries to strike a quarterback with a helmet, Chris.
That's true.
And as Casually Average puts out there, he knows how to use a helmet.
All right, we'll have Pittsburgh fans like Devil Doc and Rec. All of you guys will be pretty excited to see Pittsburgh at number 6 here. Maybe you have them higher, maybe you got them lower, who knows? But we got them at number 6, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is right there in the mix as well. They've, Pittsburgh Steelers, I feel like, let me pull up the next graphic here. Now, we just talked about Watt. I mean, he was winning games single-handedly last year. I mean, he's pretty good. You got Fitzpatrick on the back end. There you have, a lot of nice pieces, and I think you just got a lot of guys that, I don't know. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is typically, even when they're not the best in the league, they're sneaky good. Like, they just, for some reason, just know how to put together a nice little defensive scheme over the course of a season that puts them in the top echelon of defenses. So, Scotty, what do you like here about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I love the coaching staff. Like, let's be honest, the Steelers made the playoffs last year and win games the last few years when they have no business winning games because their offense is so bad. And I know Roethlisberger is retired, but it's funny. There's a stat line I've seen out there because Pickett's played pretty well in the preseason, but literally his playing and how he progresses and when he throws it and where he throws it right now is very Roethlisberger-like. He gets rid of the ball almost immediately, but his distance down the field is like minuscule. He just doesn't throw it down the field. He just gets rid of the ball, and that's good for. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad for a rookie. That's good awareness. You get into the hands, you let things create, and it's working well in the preseason. I don't know if that's going to work in the regular season. We'll see who they start between him and. It seems like the guy I thought might win is on the outs, and it's down to good old Trubisky and Pickett at this point. So we'll see. But this defensive line is, I mean, you have the defensive player of the year in TJ Watt, 22.5 sacks, Cam Hayward, all pro, right there next to him. Ogunjobi, they signed the interior defensive lineman from Cincinnati who was injured at the end of the year, but like once he's healthy, he's a really, really good player. And you have Micah Fitzpatrick and Terrell Edmonds on the back end at safety. And they signed Miles Jack, who's like a sleeper. Like, I mean, obviously that was an elite linebacker with Jacksonville coming out and played well with Jacksonville and could be good. I mean, Devin Bush hasn't been the first round pick they'd hoped he would be. My biggest concern is at the corner position here. Levi Wallace and Witherspoon, like a lot of question marks. Like, are those guys that are good enough in the depth there at corner to hold up once you go to playing 3 corners? Like, the cornerback play is my only concern. Otherwise, coaching staff and other defensive pieces are elite.
Milwaukee's best. It's all right, people. Packers will be number 1. Calm down. Devil Doc. we stay healthy, we can be there. Thankful we got Miles Jack to help with the horrible run D he had last year. It's hard when the offense is struggling and puts the defense on the field, often like last year. We just need the offense to be middle of the pack. Casually average. Scotty, you had Rudolph winning this battle?
I was just listening to their top wide receivers in camp hyping Rudolph as the most accurate passer of the three. And to me, when you don't have a great quarterback, accuracy might be an important factor to assess with the. It's not like one of those three is like, well, they're not accurate, but they're really good outside the pocket or a lead on the run. None of those guys are going to do that. Yeah, there was a point like a month or two ago after hearing that, I thought maybe Mason Rudolph, which would have been hilarious. The fact that they took a first round pick on Pickett and picked up Mitch Trubisky, and they just ended up. I wanted that to happen maybe a little bit, Chris. I wanted Mason Rudolph, the guy they already had on their team, to be the starter.
Speaking of accuracy, there's only one team that's the most accurate in the NFL, and that's the Miami Dolphins. I heard someone else, not even Tyreek's. Did someone else say that who was their
own head coach?
Yeah,
Mike McDaniels. They so don't believe this that they're hyping their quarterback. Like, if you believe it, you're not going to say it. As a head coach, why would you go? And he called it the most catchable ball ever, which, okay. He's a lefty, so that's instantly not true because the spin on the ball changes things where it's not as catchable naturally to wide receivers because of the spin on the ball that they're not familiar with. So it's literally a lie off the bat. But go off on Tua, Tyreek and Mike McDaniels, and they're selling their soul for this guy. So props to them.
Fair enough. So what teams do you think Sheldon Richardson and Sue end up with, says Mandalorian?
I have no idea, honestly.
I haven't heard any rumors.
I'm shocked that Sue's not with a team. Not that he's elite at this point, obviously, but he's a contributor, and maybe he's just waiting to figure things out and waiting for a team to be a little more desperate. Sheldon Richardson, I'm a little less high on, like, at this point. I don't know if he has the drive to, like, continue to be like an elite player in this league. So I have no intel on where they might end up, though.
By the way, guys, I put the exclamation point contest in the chat. That's our Pick'em and our Survivor. Make sure you go in and join in. It's free to enter on those contests, and you could win some sweet prizes. The more people that we have going into those contests, the more prizes we're going to give away. So make sure, join in. There's a password on that, Lab Rats with a capital L. All one word, Lab Rats. That's it. So join in and make sure you guys are a part of it. We like to see all of those familiar faces in those contests. All right. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens coming in at number 5 here. Number 5, Baltimore. Now, this is usually a gritty division, right? I mean, you got the Baltimore Ravens. You got the Steelers. They're scrappy, right? You got the Bengals who, they've been playing pretty well. So throwing in,
they had a Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, doing all right, right? So let's go ahead. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens here at number 5.
Yeah, and this one is obviously a reliance on. This team was the most injured team I've ever seen in a season. Maybe ever. You look at this roster, though. You get Marcus Peters back. You got Humphrey on the other side.
The secondary
you add Marcus Williams, the safety from the New Orleans Saints. We talked about in that secondary. Linebacker core. You got Patrick Queen, who was the number 1 pick a couple years ago out of LSU. A speedy linebacker. The defensive line. You still got Campbell, who somehow is still elite. I keep waiting for Campbell's drop off, and it just doesn't seem to happen to the extent I think. So. You got Justin Houston, they re-signed for a year. We'll see what they can do pass rushing wise, but I think the coaching staff's really good at creating pressure regardless. And they basically bring people and isolate their corners. Now that they have their corners back and elite safety play, I think that helps them a lot in what they like to do. And they're going to create a lot of turnovers this year. They might get beat by elite talent at times, but most teams won't be able to beat their, elite pressure based off their blitz packages with their corners covering tight and their safety play over the top. So I like their defense a lot. I think their defense is not talked about enough through the years. When you talk about Lamar Jackson and the offense, I think the defense has actually carried the way there.
Yeah, I think their pass defense is going to be the cream of the crop of this. This is what makes them as good. I think they need to figure out what their edge rushers and their pass rushers are going to be looking like. Oweh, is he going to take the next step? Like Calais Campbell, he's getting older, right? I mean, is he going to be able to play like he did, in his previous years? Like, you got some names there, but they're kind of aging and they're kind of getting into, what are you getting out of them? So if they can get that in tandem with the secondary, they could be dirty. Next up,
Cuban, real quick. Thought I saw Sheldon at Broncos practice, Sheldon Richardson, the other day, but it turned out to just be Russ.
Oh,
Roger.
Yeah.
Russ.
Yeah, Mandalorian loved it, as she should, because that's a common mistake that people are making these days. I get that, Cuban. That's difficult to project.
I mean, hey, Cuban. I'm glad you're making it out to camp, though. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad. Granted, Russ has taken his huge overcompensating truck to camp, but maybe you should walk to camp once in a while. Maybe a quick jog, even.
You could. Yeah, I mean, he could think about that.
That'd be good. That'd be good for us. Him and Sheldon Richardson in a race to camp.
Think they could put that on pay-per-view? I bet you they could.
I'd buy it.
All right, here we are. Coming up next, we have the Rams. The Rams coming off a Super Bowl win. And let's take a look at their lineup here. So when you look at this, obviously Aaron Donald is the highlight of this. You have Floyd on the right outside side when it comes to the getting pressure on the quarterback. So you get that push up the middle, get the push off the edge. You lost Von Miller, so he's over in the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about them maybe here in a minute. But you still have Jalen Ramsey on the outside, Fuller on the back end. There's some nice pieces here. You got them, kind of replicating what they did last year, or what do you think? They're going to be better?
Listen, this is a team that's been top 10 defense 4 of the 5 years under McVay. I don't see a drop off necessarily here. You have a lot of top heavy talent. You have your Aaron Donald, you have your Jalen Ramsey. They did sign Bobby Wagner at linebacker that you really, really coveted for your own Broncos, Chris, I believe.
It's better than anything we got now.
Yeah, I mean, the safety play is okay. It's not spectacular. Everywhere else, you're kind of like solid, not spectacular. I like Jones a lot, actually, Ernest Jones at linebacker to pair with Wagner. So there are pieces there, and they basically go top heavy and go solid everywhere else to hope like the special guys be special. And they clearly were last year when they won a Super Bowl, Chris. So they're relying heavily on Donald and Ramsey, granted, and probably Wagner this year. If those guys get beat up or injured, which none of them have a history of doing that, so I wouldn't expect that, but they're not deep. So this is the most top heavy team in general in the NFL when you look at talent and what they've done. And they don't have a draft pick for the next decade, I believe. They've traded them all away, Chris. So not a lot of youth infusion on this roster, but they're going to keep going. They're going to keep going with it. I don't know. They've been solid. They're top 10 even when I don't know that they can be. So I'm not going to doubt them now.
Didn't prompt me for a password, but I think I'm in. Broncos joining in the contest on the Pick'em and the Survivor. Hey, follow his lead. There you go. Join in and make sure you guys are having fun with us. We're going to be we're going to be showing updates of the leaderboards on our pick'ems and our survivors each and every single week at the end of each Sunday. So make sure you go check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Scotty, do you think OBJ signs back with the Rams?
Tough to predict a guy like OBJ, but depending on when he's coming back, if it's later on in the season where he only has a few weeks to play and then leverage the playoffs, I think it makes a lot of sense to go back to the Rams. Actually, I was surprised when he signed them with the Rams because at that time they had Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and they didn't seem like they needed an OBJ. So now they replace Robert Woods with Allen Robinson. They should be fine with Cooper Kupp, but I think if he's only going to play like 6 or 7 weeks, like I expect, going back to the Rams makes a lot of sense, which makes them stupid talented at wide receiver. I don't want it.
Casually Average has a random spicy hot take prediction with Matt Ryan and Nick Foles on Indy's depth chart. Colts are guaranteed a Super Bowl appearance with Foles winning a second Super Bowl MVP. All right. Coming in with some hot takes. I mean, people think that the Colts are going to be good this year. So, I mean, I don't know.
I've heard a crazy amount of hype on the Colts. I like the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be... I think they should win the South. I picked them there. But let's pump the brakes. I don't even know what their best defensive player, who, by the way, has a back issue and hasn't played all offseason. He changed his name from Darius to Shaquille. You can change your name from like Darius to Darii or diarrhea if you want. But not Darius to Shaquille. You can't just change your name from Darius to Shaquille. And then he's not even playing because he's got back issues. I think he's... I like Matt Ryan more than Carson Wentz, and I get why people can be excited about Matt Ryan behind a good offensive line with a great running game, and Michael Pittman Jr., who I fully expect Cuban to take in our draft because he needs an MPJ on his roster. But let's pump the brakes a little. Let's let him make the playoffs or something.
Yeah.
Before we anoint the Colts.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Mackie, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate the love.
What's up, Mackie?
Half a year, boys. Let's give Mackie a little shout out. So he has his own channel. He's always doing some cool things, I think, with Andy also. So make sure you go give him some love. There you go. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes, sir. Tampa 3.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Here we are, number 3 on our list. Let's get after it. So Tampa Bay, obviously Tampa's got a nice core of nice veterans. I mean, again, we talk a lot about this team, right? You know, they're getting a little bit older. It's not the youngest team out there, right? But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at their roster and take a look at what they got going on. So here you go, Scotty. What excites you? You got Winfield Jr. on the back end there. Yeah, you know, some common names, but Levante David, tandem with Devin White. So I mean, nice little setup there. Nice, it's a couple veterans, right? And still, you know, hey, just a little delayed there. Just a little delayed. I don't know why that alert was delayed, but there you go. Hey, thank you, Mackie. All right, so go ahead, dive in. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is a defense on paper that looks really, really good. I mean, again, it's an aging defense, and you wonder as each of these players continues to age, do they hold up? But you look at the cornerback play, you're 3 deep there with Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, and Sean Murphy Bunting.
Yep.
All 3 reliable, solid, none maybe like spectacular, but all really, really good to go with, like Winfield Jr. on the back end. I mean, Levante David and White are stupid good at linebacker. And then you got the front with like Vita Vea is a great interior tackle on the defense of Shaq Barrett. You lose JPP, but you have a guy you took the end of the first round last year, and Joe Tryon, who added another name that I can't say to his name. He was Joe Tryon in the draft when I followed that last year out of Washington. So, and you add Akeem Hicks on the interior as well from Chicago, who can be a disruptor. So I think I'm going to say it right now. I think if everyone stays healthy and plays like they should, this defense for Tampa should be the strength of the team. The offense will not be as good as this defense. And this defense is going to have to carry him a little bit at times this year. Now, I think Tampa clearly is going to be one of the top teams in the league and be in the playoffs and be in the mix there. But this defense has the potential to be. I mean, there's no.
Well, look at the division too.
There's no innate weakness here. At 3 levels, they're good at all three levels.
Yeah, and the defense, going against some of these teams in the NFC South, you're going to feast on some of those division games, realistically. Q and Benny, I'm not worried about Russ conditioning, to be honest. His wife, Sierra, I'm sure he gets plenty of exercise at night.
I don't think they sleep together, Chris. I don't even think they sleep in the same room, to be honest. I mean, if I had to guess, they sleep in separate rooms.
We should have him on the show and see if he could answer that question.
We can ask him. I'm sure if he heard that I'm questioning that, he would come on.
Scotty, Indy only plays 5 games outdoors and the rest in a dome. Matt Ryan is a dome playing quarterback.
Cool. Matt Ryan has been a dome playing quarterback his whole career and won how many Super Bowls?
I mean, Roger.
I think Matt Ryan's definitely an upgrade, and I think the Colts will win the South. Everyone like saying like, oh, they're gonna be like the top, like they're gonna make a Super Bowl run and this and that. I'm like, let's see. When you add a new quarterback, I understand you saw the Rams last year add a new quarterback and make a run to the Super Bowl. But again, I just think they got hot at the right time. And again, I don't think the Rams were the best team in football last year, but that happens a lot of years. It's not unusual to not see the best team in football win the Super Bowl. It's when you are in a one and done format, like that happens a lot. The Rams got hot at the right time. Could the Colts do it? Yes. Would I be shocked? Would I be shocked if the Colts represented the AFC? I mean, listen, I would have been shocked with the Bengals, obviously, as everyone would have, but I would be absolutely shocked if the Colts represent the AFC in the Super Bowl last year or next year. There's no way they're better. I really, really feel like the Chiefs and Bills have separated themselves, will separate themselves from the other teams in the league. And maybe the Bengals just, I don't want to hate on the Bengals, but I don't see them in the mix as much as last year. I really, really feel in my heart that like the AFC is going to come down to the Chiefs and Bills.
Cuban didn't like the short joke. Scotty cut me off before I could read the can't only be going up on. Yeah, no, you get the short jokes. He's not the tallest guy. Like I said, Packers are number 1. Are you so sure, Milwaukee's? Are you sure they're number 1?
Or they could be 11.
They could be 11, and we just had them outside the top 10. Hey, who knows? But right now we're talking about the Bills coming in at number 2. Now the Bills already boasted one of the top defenses in the NFL going into the offseason. Then they pick up Von Miller, who had 60 pressures, 19 cute quarterback hits over the course of last year, which, he's aging and he's definitely on the downside, but still is a nice presence. He still got off the edge, right? So upgrade over Jerry Hughes. Obviously, Jerry Hughes was the guy. 45 pressures, 7 quarterback hits, so not really much going on there. Let me open up sorry, I forgot to open that up for you. But yeah, then they got nice Pro Bowl cornerback Tre'Davious White. You got pass rusher Greg Rousseau. Nice pieces that they added in. Second round pick or first round pick Kaiir Elam also, which it's gonna be nice to see some of these young guys and how they perform. But nice little picks here. I think Miller and Rousseau will be interesting. Like I've said this before. Like you don't really think of the Bills defense in past years, and like think of the dominance of the run passing game, or the rushing game, like getting to the quarterback. I mean, we went back in history and we could only name like a couple guys, and I think that this is going to be a nice strength that they're not used to having. And I think Miller can make a nice impact, but it's going to be also how they throw game plans together for other teams too. But either way, I like this team a lot. Their defense is going to be really good.
Yeah. Listen, but when I'm making my rankings, I go and I Google other people's rankings. I'll be honest, because I want other people's opinions and what they can argue and what they bring to the table. And I look at a lot of different opinions, and there were a ton that had Buffalo at 1, and they were the number 1 DVOA defense in the league last year. But as a Chiefs fan, I just have a hard time because I saw a Bills defense that got completely dominated in the playoffs by the Chiefs. They did. The number 1 defense in the league last year. Everyone's so mad that Josh Allen didn't get a chance in overtime, but they ignore the fact that the number 1 defense in the NFL last year couldn't get a stop to save their lives down the stretch. Right? Like, no one talks about that, Chris. No one.
Got to play big in the big moments.
Listen, I'm a little concerned. Yes, you add Von Miller. It's a great piece. You need Rosal, or however you say his name, out of Miami on the other end. I think he's now in his 2nd or 3rd year out of Miami to be, I think his 2nd year, 8.5 sacks last year, I believe. Ed Oliver on the interior has never quite lived up to the hype out of Houston, but really, really solid player. Tre'Davious White, yeah, I mean, we'll see what he is. He tore his ACL mid-year last year. He's not going to start the year, and we'll see if he's able to be the player he was, because Tre'Davious White, when he's healthy, is a top 5 corner, potentially, not potentially, he can be and probably would be a top 5 corner in the league. That's a huge piece. You talked about Khair Elam, who they took 1st round corner. Everyone's saying I'm salty. I'm not salty. I'm just providing. Okay. Here, my salt is based off of how everyone anoints the Bills when they've lost the last 2 years in the playoffs to my Chiefs. Okay? That gives me a little salt. I just look at results. All right? Why are we anointing the Bills? Okay? And by anointing, I literally rank them at 2 here. I rank them as the number 2 offense and the number 2 defense in the league.
Pretty good.
And people are calling me salty on the Bills, Chris. I've ranked them top 2 on both sides of the ball, and I'm salty. I'm salty.
You want some pepper, says Mackie?
I mean, it's out of control. What am I supposed to do, Chris? Just rank them at 1, despite the fact they've never proven to beat my Chiefs in the playoffs? Do I think Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes when it comes down to who I would choose with 2 minutes on the clock to win a game? No, I do not. And I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. I ranked him as my number 2 quarterback, Chris.
You know what's
again, I'm salty.
You know what's great?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
You know what's great is, like, for all you guys who know Stephen A. Smith, and then, like, you have Scotty A. Smith here. You kind of, without knowing it, you kind of do the whole Stephen A. Smith where you're like, hey, the Bills are great. I know the Bills. The Bills are fantastic. But and then you go into like the whole, like,
I'll drink to that.
It's kind of like that little.
Explain to me this 1 point, Chris. I will make. The Bills were the number 1 defense last year, based off of DVOA, based off of points per game, based off a lot of metrics. And now I'm salty because they're number 2. Okay. Chris, did the Chiefs have a good defense last year? Were they like top half of the league?
They weren't good.
No, they weren't even top half of the league last year in defense. They weren't that good of a defense, which is kind of a theme for Mahomes. He's never had a top, maybe the year they won the Super Bowl, they like flirted with like 14th in the league. But never in his 4 years, when he's made overtime of the AFC Championship every year, has he had a top defense. And then we come out of last year where the Chiefs beat the Bills, right? Chris, if I'm not mistaken, the Chiefs did beat the Bills in an epic playoff game. Epic playoff game.
Yep.
We come out of that, and everyone's like, the Bills are the favorite. Bills are great. And I'm like, so the Bills have a top 2 defense and a top 2 offense, but they continually lose to my Chiefs, Chris. But we come out of the Chiefs winning that game, the Bills are the better team. Why? Why are they the better team? They didn't have as many yards. They didn't have as many first downs. They didn't have as many. You look at the stats, it's not even that close, Chris. The Chiefs were the better team in that game. Going against, Pat Mahomes had to go against the number 1 offense in the league. You know who freaking Josh Allen had to go against? A below average defense in Kansas City. I fully admit that. That's not why they're not in our top 10 here. I fully admit that I think the Chiefs defense will be better than this year, but it's not a top 10 offense or defense. And everyone wants to anoint Josh Allen and the Bills when the Chiefs dominated the number 1 defense in the league last year. What's more impressive, Mahomes dominating the number 1 defense or Allen playing well against the 21st ranked defense? Why are we anointing the Bills? What are we doing? What are we doing, Chris?
This isn't even a coming in hot segment. I didn't know we were doing coming in hot tonight. But
it's
hey,
just look at it. Look at the mind fuck that everyone puts on themselves. They just want a new team. Everyone's tired of the Chiefs, and I get that. Everyone's just tired of them already, and they hate. And so what they found, they were like, Pat Mahomes is the least hateable player in the league, so we'll hate his brother and we'll hate his wife. That's what we'll do to make them unlikable, which is just stupid. Why are those individuals involved at all? That's just dumb. Yeah. If you want to find a reason to hate the Chiefs, go find it. But you know who you can't hate? Patrick motherfucking Levon Mahomes.
It's a long name.
Because he's the GOAT.
It's a long name. Everyone's loving the rant in the chat. Everyone's loving all of the... Oh, yeah, there's so much here. St. Louis Cardinals, what's up? How we doing? Justin Herbert, top quarterback this year. Anyone? Says, welcome in, St. Louis. How we doing? Well, how's your weekend going, by the way? So he's all about Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert still needs to prove it. But yeah, I think he'll be good. I
love Herbert.
I think he'll be good.
5.
He'll be good. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm told I'm figuring out I only care about the Chiefs, and I should have an only Chiefs show.
Scott, part of why that doubt exists is that Mahomes, and this keeps scrolling on me. Mahomes and KC, mostly KC, seems to be nearly collapsed at the most unfortunate times in the playoffs, their Super Bowl win aside.
Okay, so I get that. They collapsed in the second half against the Bengals last year. They absolutely did. The other 3 years, they were down a ton at half against the Patriots that first year, came back, took it to overtime, lost in overtime because Tom Brady got the ball first, and Mahomes didn't even get the ball in overtime. But no one changed the rule then. It was changed once Josh Allen's our savior. Now the rules changed. Year 2, they won a Super Bowl. Year 3, I mean, he literally had no healthy offensive lineman, and they just got absolutely dominated on the front. He had no chance in that Super Bowl against the Bucs because they had no healthy offensive lineman, and he had no chance. So I don't know if they collapse. It's really hard for me to imagine being a fan of a team, and I'll say it again, that your quarterback has made it to the overtime of their conference championship minimum all 4 years he's played and won the championship 1 year, and they collapse. That team collapses. That's really hard. That I'm not going to buy that argument. I won't.
So hey,
but I don't want to talk about the Chiefs anymore because I apparently talk about them too much.
It's your birthday, man. You can talk about the Chiefs. You're good. St. Louis, Brandon Staley needs to step up his game this year if they want to run for the playoffs. We cannot have what he did last year. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, St. Louis and anyone else who hasn't joined in, we have contests that are free to enter. Exclamation point contest. There you go. Pick'em and Survivor. Join in on the Action Lab Rat contest here, and we will be giving away free prizes. It's free to enter, so there's literally a free roll. There's nothing that you need to worry about when it comes to hang-ups on why this isn't the best deal out there. Go ahead, join in. We love to hang out with you guys and like talk about all the rankings each and every single season. So there you go. Packers coming in at number 1, Scotty. Packers are here. They're going to need it.
We made it. We made it to this.
Milwaukee, you've been waiting for a while, and you finally got there.
And to be clear, I don't want to give anything. Like, I love Green Bay, but there's not, in my mind, there's not a just above and beyond elite defense in the league. Like Green Bay, if you argued Green Bay's 6 or 7, I would respect your argument. Like, there's no one that's clearly separating from the pack on defense. And by the way, when I'm making rankings in top 10 offense versus defense is so much harder, Chris. Defense is so much harder to project.
Yeah. It's definitely there's a little bit more you have to look at. I mean, like you mentioned, the quarterback runs like the offense, right? If you have a good quarterback, realistically, you're going to have a decent offense, right? I think defense, there's so many factors. If you got missing guys on the back end, but you have good pass rushers, like that matters. If you're vice versa, you got no pass rush and you got great, guys on the back end. Like either way, regardless, there's a lot more that goes into a good defense than, meets the eye. So I think that you can slot some of these teams in different places based off of what you really think. And there is some of the, these could go somewhere else. These could go into other parts of our rankings. But either way, they're going to be
I just think they're solid. Move it to their projected lineup here, Chris. I think they're solid across the board. And here's the surprising thing, why I rank them at 1. I think they're going to have to carry this Green Bay offense for a change. And this defense did not let them down in the playoffs. This defense balled out against San Francisco in the playoffs last year and was let down by special teams and the offense 100%. But you have, Jair Alexander is a top 5 corner in the league, probably. You got Darnell Savage and Amos at safety play at the back end. You draft Quay Walker to shore up your linebacker play in the first round, along with who else? Devontae Wyatt, defensive lineman who's not even listed here. Rashawn Gary's one of the best pass rushers in the league. He's elite with Smith on the other side who can get after it. A Reed on the interior was okay with the Chiefs last year. He'll be fine. Clark's elite. Like, there's a lot of good pieces here. A lot of good pieces. And I think they're going to have to carry the day for an offense that's going to struggle to figure things out with a ton of turnover at the wide receiver position, and offensive play a bit. So offensive line play, I should say. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just think this defense is going to step up a ton. And also, like, there's no, where do you pinpoint as a huge weakness here?
Well, and when you draft nothing but defensive players, eventually some of them have to pan out, right? I mean, realistically, when you don't prioritize offense, you go defense and you get some nice players. But I mean, think about this. Like, I mean, Jair Alexander surrendered 68.3 passer rating when targeted in a healthy 2020 season. Eric Stokes allowed 78.8 passer rating and coverage on 96 targets as a rookie. And Rasul Douglas allowed just 50% reception rate in 2021. So they got nice coverage pieces. They're effective. But then, I think that overall they can really put it together top to bottom on the pass rush, the defensive side, on the secondary. I think they're going to be really good. I mean, and their division, I think we kind of like Minnesota also in this division as well, but the NFC is kind of wide open. So if you have a nice defense, it could keep you in some games, and you have to, again, like you said, make up for some of those offensive, sequences that might not go your way with a subpar wide receiver core for Aaron Rodgers.
Devil Doc talks about 11 and 12 starters back, definitely up there, or on the defensive side of the ball. Mackey's got the Bills as the best, Chargers at number 2. Mackey, I respect you, but Chargers at 2 is absolutely certifiably insane. I understand they added Khalil Mack and JC Jackson, but they were in DVOA, the metric that they were 26th last year. They were 26th in the league on defense last year. And because of Mack and Bosa and JC Jackson, which by the way, they had Bosa last year, they're going to move up to 2? No. Not even close to 2. I actually didn't have them in the top 10 and I changed it last second. I just don't see that. Mandalorian, Scotty, do you think losing Devontae Adams is going to hurt the Packers offense? I mean, of course. And the weird part about it is I just don't think the Packers made an effort to replace it. I know they drafted Christian Watson in the second round. I like him long term. He's very raw coming out of North Dakota State and also has been hurt a lot of this preseason, unfortunately. So I don't know how much he contributes this year. Outside of that, you have our favorite lizard, Chris, and Romeo Dobbs. I don't even know how to say his name, is like the sensation of the preseason. This guy that's catching meaningless touchdowns for the Packers in meaningless games with meaningless quarterbacks is hyped as the greatest sensation to ever play. So I think everyone wants to correlate Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. And I think it's different because the Chiefs addressed the wide receivers position and added guys a lot more aggressively to replace Tyreek than I feel like the Packers did. I think the Packers wide receiving core is bottom 4 in the league if I had to rank them. Even with Watson's upside, I just don't think he's going to contribute a lot this year, even though I like him down the line.
Yeah, Devil Doc, hard to replace 53 yards and 123 receptions on 169 targets. He also had 604 yards after catch. That's huge shoes to fill. He was by far, I think I mentioned that on the offensive rating. They relied on him solely on that offense when it came to getting him the ball and targets and everything. So you take that away and you have to spread it around a little bit. Sorry.
It's not even his talent. It's just his connection and years spent with Rodgers, Rodgers is the best ball thrower in the league. Rodgers will put it on your spot if he knows exactly where you're going to be, but he needs to know exactly where you're going to be. And with these guys that are younger and less experienced and not as familiar, it's just not that connection.
Hey, I'm not Chris 2K. Thoughts on the Panthers? Welcome in, first time. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Hey, welcome.
Are you
welcome
a Panthers fan by chance?
I was gonna say we usually like to ask who your team is and where you're from. But I'm guessing you're a Panthers fan, which you have some fun things to get excited about, right? This is Christian McCaffrey going to stay healthy for you? I mean, most fantasy owners will hope so.
I think the Panthers. I think the Panthers could creep into the 7th spot in the NFC and make the playoffs.
Ooh.
I think they're a team that I think is gonna flirt. I think Baker Mayfield's clearly an upgrade. You get a little healthier. I mean, their number 1 pick at corner that was taken over Surtain, Chris, got hurt immediately. He's gonna be back. Horn out of South Carolina. You have McCaffrey, of course. You hope he's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I think Baker is a huge upgrade when he's healthy over Sam Darnold. I think that team can compete for a bottom, literally the 7th spot in the NFC or flirt around 500 if they don't. I think that squad's better than a lot of people think.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Mackey continues. He's like, Mack is a manimal. He's talking about this Chargers defense. And I'm like,
Khalil Mack?
Mackey. Are you just obsessed with people that have the name Mack?
It's true.
Is it Khalil Mack and Mac Jones that you just have an affinity to these guys that have the word Mac in their name? Because How many career wins does Khalil Mack have in the playoffs? How many times has Khalil Mack been such a savage and dominator that he's won a playoff game? Because I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident Khalil Mack and I have the same amount of playoff wins participating on a team.
You just love Sharon.
And by the way, he's been beat up and hurt the last 2 years and not the same dude he was before. So let's not pretend like Khalil Mack is a top 10 pass rusher in the league, because he's not right now. He's just not.
Football wife, he likes Big Macs too. He's so now it's all the Macs. All the Macs that you know, throw them in the chat. Mac,
I would respect you loving a Big Mac more than anything else.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I didn't realize that, and then all of a sudden you said that. I was like, oh man, it's all about the Macs. Scotty, what team do you believe is going to be the worst defensive team?
Oof.
I mean, the worst is hold on.
I mean, it's the guys you think. I think maybe Atlanta is going to be right there.
Atlanta's going to be
a lot of pieces there. I think the Jets don't have a lot of pieces. Jacksonville doesn't have a lot of pieces on defense. Like, those would be the three. If you can give me 3 teams to pick and one of them hits, I would pick those 3 teams.
Fair enough.
Which they're not good.
Mac was also another victim of the Nick Foles paradox. Otherwise, he would have had that elusive playoff dub. You use the song Return of the Mac during the stream sometimes. There you go. Mandalorian. Let's see. What else do we have? All right. Well, there you go.
Mackie said Mac has been on straight garbage teams, and now he's joining a team that hasn't made the playoffs in forever. So tell me what's going to change there.
Let's go
Tell
ahead.
me what's going to change.
We got to pick our fantasy football. Speaking of contests and all the things that we have going on, we love to mix it up.
I'm going to just real quick, code yellow, Chris.
Code yellow in the chat. Spam it. Hit that follow button if you have not already. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Chris. This is Scott. We are your hosts for the Action Lab. We are your premier sports and entertainment talk show on Twitch. So, make sure you guys are here each and every single Wednesday and Sunday. We are doing it live
Let's go
through football season. Let's go, JK. And spam code yellow in the chat. So there you go. I'm still picking LOL. There you go, St. Louis. Yeah, no, guys, join in. Again, we are doing 2 fantasy leagues with all of you Action Lab rats out there. So we're going to spin a wheel and we're going to make sure you guys... we're gonna make sure you guys know who's drafting when. But for all of you guys that didn't get in our fantasy league, join in on the contest. I'll put it in the chat again. Join in on the Pick'em League or the Survivor Leagues. So those are gonna be for everybody, as many people as you want. If you want to tell your friends about it, you get free Action Lab prizes from our store. We'll have like hoodies and hats and all sorts of cool things. So make sure you join in. It's free to enter, and hey, it's going to be fun to, talk through with it. Also, Discord. Join our Discord so we can talk trash and have fun and give each other crap about all of our teams, right? We're not always online. We're not always live. So when we're not, we're having conversations offline with you guys, talking about the various things that pop up in the news. So make sure you join in on the Discord. Devil Doc, thank you for throwing that in there. Discord link is in the chat. There you go. Anything else? Looks like that's it. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in and let's get into our rankings here. So this is going to be our draft order for the August 25th group. So that is coming up here on Wednesday. Thursday. I'm sorry.
Thursday. Yep.
So Casually Average, G-Girl, Football Wife, Double Dog, Mackie, Chris, Scott, Diacola, Boss Hog, Evan, Moon Princess, and I forget what he has, another nickname or another screen name, but I always forget.
Who?
With all the lines.
No, which one? Oh, I don't know. It's very.
So we're gonna spin the wheel, and the order is what it is. By the way, Scott and I will be in both leagues.
Both leagues.
So we figured, we were a couple people short. We wanted to make sure that you guys, instead of competing against just me or just Scotty, you want to, for all those people that want to get at Scotty, it's just easier for you to get at him. So let's go.
Equal opportunity here, guys. I'm going to be in both leagues, and I will beat you in both.
Let's go ahead. Let's spin the wheel. We're going first pick on this first one, correct?
Wheel of Destiny. Yes.
There we go.
So this is going to go in order of when you draft, starting with the first pick here. Whoever gets selected now will be the first pick on our August 25th league.
Let's get it going.
Give it a spin, Chris.
And first pick is... Boss Hog gets a first pick in the draft.
All right.
There you go. Boss Hog, number 1. All right. He is removed. And
he's going to take an Arkansas player, maybe.
All right. So there you go.
So,
Boss Hog is on the clock officially. There you go. Let's spin it again. Number 2 pick in the fantasy football draft for the Action Lab is... Devil Doc. There you go. Devil Doc is number 2.
All right.
There you go. That means kicker's coming off real quick there. All right. Next.
Oh, that's not till football wife. Maybe in the first round.
All right. Let's spin it again. Let's get after it. This is the Thursday draft, guys, by the way.
Thursday draft. We're going to do right after this. We're going to do the Monday draft. Yes, Cuban, it is a snake draft.
All right.
Traditional snake draft. We got casually
average number 3 here. There you go. All right. So first 3 picks are in the books. Let's get it after it. Let's go. Next on the draft board, number 4, Evan. All right. So here we go. Evan is the number... That's the 4th. All right, there we go.
Number 4 pick there, Evan. As we continue to move along, and neither of us have been picked, Chris.
No, we're dropping here. All right.
He's upset. He's like, "OMG, I'm going to be last." That also means you're first in the second round.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how a snake draft works. Try and keep it positive here.
All right, there we go.
We got
coming in at number 5. All right, let's spin it again. Let's see. We still got plenty of names. Scotty, you and I are still on the board.
We're still on
Football
the board.
Wife. All right, Moon Princess. All right. Moon Princess is next on the board. All right.
To the moon. All right.
All right, Moon Princess has been removed. We have 6.
G-Girl's back. G-Girl, we're here. You have not been picked. We're on the, what are we on now? The 7th pick?
Yep.
We're drafting the order for our draft here, for both drafts
and
here in this one.
Football Wife gets in here at number 7. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, we have it set there, and we'll look.
I want to be next to Mackie. I want him to remember when I dominate him in this league, like I dominated the Chad on the Houston Rockets, that I was next to him. He was a witness to my good picks.
Here we go. Next spin. All right, coming in. Oh, there it is. I am coming in right here.
All right. That's good news. He will take probably a defense in the first round, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Bring it, Mackie.
I already have some thoughts. I already have some thoughts on what I could do with that one. All right, here we go.
Let's
4
be 11
left.
and 12, Mackie. I want to be 11 and 12 with Mackie. I love the people left with me. We got G-Girl. We got Diacola here. Let's go.
JK, so glad you guys are doing this. These leagues will be fun for sure. We think so too. We missed out last year. We can't wait to do it. We're going to keep growing this as well. Diacola is in there at number 9. All right, here we go.
All right, it's down to me, Mackie, and G-Girl.
I want G-Girl to come off here so that way you and Mackie can be back to back.
Just automatically.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of either of these people.
Oh, it worked out just that way. Let's go.
G-Girl.
There we go.
Coming off.
Number 10. All right. There it is.
Wow.
So, last.
Wow. Lucky you, Mackie. Mackie, do you want to be 11 or 12 here?
This
would be 11 or 12.
Oh no. Let's see. Spoken into existence. Absolutely, Devil Doc. 100%. Let's go ahead.
I'm so excited to just dominate Mackie beyond belief.
Are there any? Oh, Scotty, you coming in here? Mac is the last here.
Right.
Now, you got to worry
for him to waste 2 picks at 12 and 13 for me to get the guys I want. Completely.
Now, you got to worry about any guy named Mac at the bottom end of the first round.
Yeah, no, I think he might take Mac Jones, which I would target probably with my second round pick.
Just for shits and giggles, who's going to be? Oh, there we go. Mackie, finally. There it is.
I wasn't sure he was going to be picked there, but he was.
So here are the results in order. I will copy and paste these into, just in case we want to go back and double check. I'll message you, Scott, right now. That's the first order.
Yeah,
now,
I did type it in, but in case I was wrong, which I've never been before, but go ahead, Chris.
And we have the VODs, and we have all the things you could check out in case you ever miss a show. So there you have it. All right. So let's go back in. Let's get a whole new roll of entries here. Now, this will be... let me make sure this is all looking good.
The draft on the 29th, Monday.
Monday the 29th.
Monday. Yep.
All right. So in this one, we have Health, Chairman, Garrity, Milwaukee's Best, Cuban, Unknown, Intimidating Banana, Broncos, JK, Pat, Chris, and Scott. Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
Let's get this rolling. Who's feeling lucky?
I just don't want to. I don't want to be around the same pick.
Hey, Mizzou. Hey, how are we doing? Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Hey.
Love that Shaq shimmy. Did that show up twice on your screen, Chris? Because
dude, the
it
alerts
almost like it was over the wheel, and it was also over my face, which I love.
The alerts are all over the place.
Really good, solid idea if we can integrate that moving forward.
Hey, Miz, where are you from and who's your team? We'd like to get to know you a little bit. Let's give Miz a nice, warm welcome into the Action Lab. Hope you are having a fantastic weekend. All right.
Thank you, Miz.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And again, if you guys are here and you're not following, hit that follow button. We have a lot to cover in the NFL season here. All right. So our final fantasy football. And again, I'm going to put contest. Join in on our contests. If you didn't get in on fantasy football, that doesn't mean you can't participate with us on all these other contests that we have going. Pick 'em and Survivor. Go ahead. I'm going to spam that the rest. This is going to be, you're going to see a lot of those links because we want
Survivor, password, Lab Rats, capital L, one word.
All right.
Rats.
Let's go.
Get in if you're not in.
Let's first spin. Who's going to be lucky number 1?
It's gonna be me. I actually don't want to be.
You are. It's gonna be Scott. Oh no! What is that? Is that Hell? It was Hell.
Is it Hell?
Elf.
I didn't want to be first, so I'm actually comfortable with that.
Hey, Miz, Lake Kazaki, Japan, and I'm diehard Carolina Panthers fan, so it's always a rebuilding year. LOL. Dude, I can't believe you're coming in from. Hey, we don't have anyone from Japan. Let's go.
Welcome and thanks for joining us.
We've had a couple. We just
talked about the Panthers actually, and how I feel like they might squeeze into the bottom of the playoffs this year. But they're going to be. I honestly think Baker's a big upgrade there at quarterback if he's healthy. Baker healthy is a arguably top 15 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, 100%. So welcome in. Glad to have you all the way from over the pond in Japan. Let's go.
Just so many Panther fans here.
Oh, man. All of a sudden, we're running over with all the Carolina fans. I love it. All right, let's spin again. Let's go. Number 2. The number 2 pick goes to... It's me or you. Scotty. You are number 2.
Right. I like that people can't get my strategy in the first draft and know what I'm doing with the second draft because the pick is totally different. That the strategy is going to be completely different. Love that. Love that for me.
All right, here we go. Still plenty of early round drafts. Pat is looking like he has got number 3. Pat. There it is.
That is Patricio. That is actually my brother.
Boom. All right, there we go.
Blood right there.
Chris is going to get the same pick. Watch. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
And he will probably choose the same player.
All right, next up. Oh, welcome in Broncos 1967 here. There it is. Actually, I need to get rid of these other results, by the way. Hold on. Helv was the first. I got to get rid of all these. Oh, I forgot to clear the list. All right, forget that. All right, next up. Broncos, there you go.
Broncos finishing in 4th here in the draft, similar to their position in the division.
All right, now it's my turn. Coming in next. So this is pick number, what is that?
That is 5, Chris.
Number 5. All right, I'll take 5. I think I could do some nice things with 5. I'm looking. I think I know
Where are you looking? Where are you looking, Chris?
I mean,
the inquiring minds want to know.
I'm probably taking a sweet tight end early on, number 5. Or maybe not. Maybe not. All right, let's spin it again. Let's go.
Broncos says that he hits my face. My face is very likable.
Ooh,
to be honest.
JK coming in here. Number 6. Let's go. Let's see. Ms. Thanks. Although I must clarify, I am not a Japanese native. I am originally from South Carolina, but retired to my wife's hometown after a long employment with major financial institutions. Nice. That's awesome. That's sweet.
I assumed you were not originally from there based off of some pretty solid English there. So that's awesome, though.
Broncos D at 5.
Good for you.
Broncos D at 5. All right. All right.
That seems a little too low. I think they should go top 4, probably.
G girl, why you gotta be showing off, just leaking out all my strategies? I see how it is. Thank you for the bits, G girl. By the way, guys, if you haven't gone to follow G girl, go give her a follow. I know we give her a shout out all the time.
Chris, we haven't talked about this, but should we go live for the drafts?
That's actually could be fun.
Yeah. Everyone can join us that's in the draft or not in the draft. It can comment on it, and we're already participating in the draft. We might as well just go live for it.
Oh, there we go.
Happy birthday, Scotty.
Happy birthday, Scotty.
Thank you, G-girl. Thank you so much. The only fail with that is, like, I would have scored right there, Chris. I come down with that catch, I would have put that in the end zone. But thank you so much, G-girl.
All right. By the
thank
way,
you for the biddies.
I forgot who came off the board there. That was Intimidating Banana coming in on that last pick there. So now we have 5 left. Chairman, where are you at? We got Milwaukee on here, Cuban, Unknown, and Garrity. Let's go. All right. Garrity looks like he's coming in with the next pick. Let's go. All right.
I don't know why I assume he's just like British and classy. Garrity.
Sounds fine. All right. 4 left. If you're at the bottom of this, start getting your strategies in place.
No, I'm just kidding. Cuban, you'll be picked eventually. Don't worry about it.
Chairman.
Chairman here. Oh.
There you go. Cuban, yeah, you're going to be approaching the back-to-back picks here soon, which isn't the worst thing. You know, those back-to-backs.
And there could be someone separating you that's literally unknown.
Literally
unknown.
All right. And speaking of unknown 2324 is coming in here at number 10.
All right. Unknown coming in at 10. We'll see if that unknown person shows up for the draft. I should check the leagues right now. When I checked before, Chris, we were at 9 in each, which was good based off of what I sent out today. We're at 10 in the league we're drafting right now. We're waiting on 2 people. The other league, where are we at?
All right, Cuban or Milwaukee, what do you want? Do you want the last pick? What do you want, 11 or 12? Here we go.
It all comes down to this.
Cuban, there you go. Unknown was in my league last season. He's active.
I mean, the most active player you'll ever see.
And Milwaukee, there you go. We are wrapping up our final pick here. Milwaukee's best coming in with the last pick. All right, so let's look.
I love that you spin it for that last one as if something else could happen.
I mean, you always want to get that spin, have it land on your name, right? All right, so there we go. 2 12-team leagues. Let me pull this together. I'm going to copy this, paste this into just to confirm that these are the orders. There we go. So August 25th and August 29th are all selected and all ready to go, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Mackey's already calling last place, brothers. He's already predicting himself to be in last place. That's how I read that.
Okay.
That's how I read that chat. He said last pick, but I read last place.
Guys, thank you guys for all the people that were interested that wanted to join in on the fantasy football. As we get bigger with this, hey, we want to make sure that we're expanding this year in and year out. We didn't do it last year. This is our first year. We're doing 2 leagues this year. Who knows where we're at in the next couple of years? But we might be 100 leagues. Who knows? But yeah, either way, thank you guys for all expressing interest in this. And also, again, join in on all of our other contests. If you did not and want to join in, you know where to go. ! Contest in the chat. There you go. Pick 'em and Survivor. We want you guys. We want a big group. We want to keep growing it each and every year. So make sure you're part of it. Scotty, anything else? Any last takeaways here on what you're looking forward to, or the draft, or the NFL season, or what? Anything?
All of the above. Like that, I know where I'm picking now, so I can get a strategy to dominate each and every one of you here, which I will do regardless of draft position. Maggie's talking some trash. There was one comment I wanted. Oh, Mandalorian's like, I put all my money on Scotty to be crowned champ. Congratulations, Mandalorian. You will be rewarded. I mean, tenfold.
Yeah.
Based off your bet. Congratulations. But listen, the most exciting thing is we're 17 days away, Chris.
Right.
That's a small number. We had this like whole day countdown thing start a long time ago, and now we're down to 17 till we get real NFL games on that Thursday night. Buffalo, LA Rams to start. That's going to be epic.
Mark your calendars to be on. We will be streaming that game, guys. So make sure you guys are here. We're going to have a lot of fun things that we're going to be doing during that stream. So make sure you tag along with us each and every single time. Mandalorian, he's brainwashing people with junk rankings. LOL.
Yeah. No. Well, or maybe I'm not. Or maybe they're perfect rankings and I'm mind fucking you the other way. You decide, guys. You decide.
Choose your adventure. What time
beyond
is
that? We have the first draft. If you're in Action Lab number 1, it's this Thursday, 8 p.m. Mountain, 10 p.m. Eastern, is when the draft will start. Be there or be square. I don't know what that means, the whole be square thing, but it's a thing. Otherwise, Action Lab League 2 is Monday, next Monday, the 29th, same time. Same bet time, same bet channel. So we'll be 8 p.m. locally for us, Chris, but 10 p.m. Eastern.
Let's see. We had a question. St. Louis Cardinals. My picks are in, right? For which one? For
the Pick'em or Survivor? I don't think the Survivor's up yet. So probably Pick'em.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I mean, if you picked them, I can look real quick, I guess. It's a lot of effort on my part.
But we can't necessarily see what you picked. We could just see that you made.
I can't see what anybody picks. Yeah, which I should be able to.
So, Pigskin Pick'em. Yes, we have.
Yeah. As long as you submitted it and it said it was good, you're good.
Guys, we are growing that pick'em a lot. Let's keep it going, guys. Keep again, join in. We want to have fun with you guys. Also, this coming Wednesday, we have a lot more in store for you. We're going to be talking a lot about more football, more top news. We got Scotty A. Smith's coming in hot. Have a great night, Action Lab. Happy birthday, Scotty. See you around. Absolutely. Thank you, Amanda, for popping in. Tell everyone we miss them, especially, the whole crew that you have, that you jump around Twitch with, all those folks. Make sure you have them come back and join us for the first week of the NFL kickoff, for sure. That's going to be a big one. We're going to push that a ton. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all for being a part of the show. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot to talk about, and we have a lot more in store moving forward. So, guys, we will be back here live in the Action Lab, your premier sports and entertainment talk show on Twitch. It's like chatting with your friends inside your living room, except for they're all over the world, and they're fans of all these different teams. It's great. So, make sure you guys hit that follow button if you have not already. Hey!
Happy birthday, Scotty.
Happy birthday, Scotty. Thank you, Devil Doc, for
Devil
the
Doc and everyone else giving love in the chat. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. A year older. Lived another year. I did it. I survived. I don't know.
You made it.
It's a weird phenomenon for me, Chris. It's not an accomplishment, but okay.
Happy birthday, Scotty.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate the love, though. And I appreciate. Thank you, Chairman Hunter Biddies. Thank you so much. Honestly, I appreciate this stream and where we're headed, Chris, so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And that's like a family tradition with mine and my wife's family. Like, what are you thankful for? Like, honestly, one of the things I'm thankful for is this stream and where we're headed and the community we're building. And it's just, I look forward to it. It's a lot of fun. Appreciate you all. Thanks for wishing me happy birthday. And we'll see you here Wednesday. And if you're in a fantasy league, good luck, because I am going to dominate you.
I mean, yeah, you hey, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I haven't had recent success, but I got a lot of history in some fantasy football myself, and it'll be a nice run. Well, now watch, I finish dead last, and it's gonna be embarrassing, but
this is super funny, actually. Chairman said, "Shh, everyone, be quiet. Scotty's being sincere." And I have that real life problem, actually, too, Chris. I have that real life problem with like I'm the boss of people, right? Like I have to have an end of year meeting and
reviews,
assessment review. And I try and come off sincere, and they just don't buy it at all. They don't buy. I have a sincere problem with people thinking it's hard for me to be sincere because I'm just never that way. I'm not that way. Just, I keep it light. Keep it light and fun.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been a lot of fun doing it with you, and I can't wait to keep doing it. I remember when we first started this channel, you were like, "I don't know what the hell Twitch is and what this means or what we do," and now, we're still oblivious and we're still figuring it out on the fly. But we've made it this far. We have some we have our own fantasy leagues. We have our own contests. We have our own community. We have, all of you guys. It's great. So,
we both have beards now, Chris. It's pretty serious now.
G girl, I remember way back, guys. LOL. You've come a long way. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Scotty and Chris. Remember, if I'm in the league, you'll never finish 12 out of 12. It's just casually average. Well,
humble.
There you go. I guess I feel really good about that. Or is that maybe he's setting a trap for me?
It's a trap.
Who knows? I don't know.
Cuban makes a good point. Life is serious enough. Be happy. That's kind of what I do. I understand people won't take me seriously, and I'm fine with that because I'd rather just bring joy.
Yeah. No.
I'd rather bring joy and happiness to people. And I honestly have a lot of fun here, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, like literally, we can't define how much we appreciate it, how much each of you means to us that you guys are here with us week to week.
We can't do it without you guys, and we can't do it without you on this coming Wednesday either. So make sure you're there. Again, we love you guys so much. We have been historically sending you to some fun music spots at the end of the night. Tonight's no different. Actually, wait, let me double check and make sure there's nobody in the sports scene real quick that maybe we can give some love. There's a lot of pack opening stuff. There's a lot of, oh, hey, there's us.
We're in there?
Who knew the sports category turned into pack
literally
openings?
opening card, not you opening cards, just watching other people open cards.
Yeah, it's kind of
weird phenomenon, Chris, but maybe we should start doing it because I guess it's doing real good.
Bust open some card packs. All right, so we're gonna go over to our nice friend Mitch Bruzis, who always brings it. By the way, he is absolutely one of the cooler, more fun people on the music landscape. I think he's doing some. It looks like he's writing some lyrics, doing the around the world lyrics that he's throwing out there. So, guys, once he gets going, he has lights. He has all sorts of cool things. Make sure you go give him a follow. He's great. So we're gonna send you there. We will see you back here in the lab on Wednesday night. Have a great start to your week. We're going to get you halfway through. It's all downhill from Wednesday to the weekend. But in between then, go out and be a good person to other people around you. Be a good person. And go live in the moment if you haven't recently. Put the phone down. Get out of the front of the TV and go hang out with some people that you really care about and enjoy their company. Or enjoy a hike. Go out in nature or something. And just live in the moment. You won't regret it. Love you guys. Have a great night. Let's send you over, and we will see you here on Wednesday. Love you guys.
Can't deliver it better than that. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, you guys. We'll see you here Wednesday night. Thank you all.